The dream matchup, Ohtani, Trout. And in a one-run game with 2 gone in the 9th inning, he struck him out. And Japan's back on top of the baseball world.
Tonight is the start of a journey 3 years in the making. USA versus the world, with one goal in mind: win. Nothing comes easy on baseball's biggest international stage. Global powerhouses rise, new contenders emerge. The world's best are here, and they're all chasing one prize: USA versus Brazil in the World Baseball Classic.
Welcome everybody to the 2026 World Baseball Classic presented by Capital One. Pool B play opens up for the United States in Houston, Texas at Daikin Park, where plenty of fans have made the trip to see if the U.S. can fulfill its destiny. After falling to Japan in 2023, the former Astro Alex Bregman rejoins the U.S. and its captain Aaron Judge for the New York Yankees as this stacked roster opens up pool play against Brazil tonight. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, Adam Amin, a couple of World Series champions, and A.J. Pierzynski and Adam Wainwright. Ken Rosenthal is with us as well. You've felt this buzz in the lead up to this World Baseball Classic, and understandably so, AJ. You look at the names on this United States lineup, in particular the position players, it's about as stacked as it gets.
This is 1992 Dream Team in Olympic basketball on the WBC stage for baseball. This is the best lineup they could have found. 5 of the top 6 hitters here on the graphic: Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper, Cal Raleigh, Kyle Schwarber, Bobby Witt. That's not counting Alex Bregman, Byron Buxton hitting 8th, Bryce Terang, one of the best young players, hitting 9th, and that doesn't even include the guys on the bench that would play for most teams and be their star player. This team, and offensively, is absolutely loaded, and they want the gold medal.
Understandable why they're the favorites in this tournament, and then you look over to the pitching staff and you see why they're favored.
Not to be outdone, they have both reigning Cy Young Award winners on this team. You have some of the best young talent in all of baseball in the rotation as well, and then today, we're starting with the guy, I just love this guy, real pitcher, Logan Webb. The last 3 years, he's led the league in innings pitched. He is Mr. Consistent, and he is a perfect Game 1 starter.
Throwback to Logan Webb's 3 straight 200-plus inning seasons. Guys, you were here, Wayno. You're on the team in 2023 when they fell to Japan in the finals. It feels like there's a little bit more buzz coming into this tournament, right?
It's win or bust for this team, and they want it. They're focused. This is one of the most focused teams I've ever seen before any game. They're here to win. It's win or nothing for this team.
Wayno?
And they have really gelled well. Mark DeRosa's done a great job. Those guys are rubbing shoulders. I think every team in baseball should send all their stars in there, rub shoulders, get to know each other. This is baseball at its finest right here, and playing for your country is the best.
Very exciting stuff, guys. I'm really pumped for this. This is going to be very fun to see the United States journey en route to hopefully a finals appearance next weekend. Coming up next, Ken Rosenthal has more on this team. Getting set to go from Daikin Park in Houston, Texas. For more on this stacked United States roster, down to the field in Ken Rosenthal.
Adam, this is the best roster the U.S. has brought to the Classic, featuring both Cy Young Award winners, the AL MVP, and the runners-up for MVP in both leagues. But Mark DeRosa, the manager, wanted to build a complete team, deep, versatile, and balanced, with an emphasis on character and chemistry, a team of selfless superstars. Paul Seiler, the CEO of USA Baseball, addressed this group before its first workout, along with DeRosa and Aaron Judge. Seiler cited a phrase that became a rallying cry for the 2012 18 and under U.S. team that won the World Championship. The phrase captures the essence of what this team is trying to achieve. We left as teammates, we returned as brothers. Adam?
63 combined All-Star games, 7 combined MVPs, 6 Cy Young Awards, 11 Gold Gloves. With all those accolades come the pressure and expectation for the United States, which begins its journey in the World Baseball Classic next against Brazil. You heard A.J. Pierzynski talk about this lineup. This is the starting 9 for Mark DeRosa, and he's still got plenty of help on the bench as well. It will be the hits leader, Bobby Witt Jr., to start it off. Harper, Judge, Schwarber, Bregman, Raleigh, Anthony, the youngest player on this roster, Buxton, and Terang. For the United States, they'll face the former Cincinnati Red and Arizona Diamondback minor leaguer Bo Takahashi, who's been pitching for the Seibu Lions over in Japan. The manager for Brazil, Yuichi Matsumoto, felt that Takahashi, with his experience in affiliated ball, would probably be the best choice to take on this stacked United States lineup. And he will face Bobby Witt Jr. to lead things off in this opening game in Pool B. 4 games for the U.S., 4 games for each team in pool play. Brazil, Great Britain, Italy, and Mexico are the opponents for the U.S. in Pool B. The top 2 teams from each pool will reach the knockout round. Away we go in the 2026 World Baseball Classic, and a strike on a nice sweeper from Takahashi, taken by Bobby Witt Jr.
If I had to guess, I think they're going to flood these American hitters with off speed early on in this game, try to keep them at zeros.
1 strike offering, and there is a fastball that clips the zone. It's quickly 0-2 on Bobby Witt Jr. This is playing in his 2nd World Baseball Classic. Kansas City Royal, one of the best defensive players in baseball, led Major League Baseball in hits last year as well. 0-2 delivery, and it's in the dirt.
Well, if I'm Brazil, Wayner, like you said, I'm trying anything I can to keep this basically all-star team lineup off balance as much as possible. Pitch backwards, never give in. If you give up some walks, you just have to live with it, and just try not to give up the crooked numbers.
Home with the 1-2, and Witt contacts and fouls it away. Brazilian team is in its 2nd World Baseball Classic. The last time they were here was 2013. Brazil seeking its first ever win in this tournament. Off-speed delivery over the top of Takahashi. This will be the shortstop Ito trying to make the play, and one of the fastest players in all the baseball, Bobby Witt Jr., has an infield single to start.
And that's going to be so huge for this USA team, getting the top of the order on base for those sluggers in the middle. There's really sluggers from 1 to 9, AJ, but when Bobby Witt gets on base, you can see how many ways he can beat you with. He's so fast. Once this ball got over the pitcher, he was going to beat that out every time.
Well, here's the thing. The perfect start for U.S., because they have their fastest guy arguably on base, takes the pressure off. They know they're not going to get no hit. And a dreadful start if you're Brazil, because you don't want them to be able to build any momentum.
Well, like you said, AJ, you got to deal with Witt, who can get on base with the best of them, has a ton of speed. And now 2 of the great power hitters, multiple MVPs in Harper and Judge to follow in this first inning. Harper making his World Baseball Classic debut. The catcher Carmu will flag that down. That will keep Witt at first base.
What's going to be interesting, though, is how much does Mark DeRosa let Bobby Witt and guys like that run? Does he want to keep them station to station, rely on the power? Will they take the extra base? Will they try and steal bases?
They're going to have to play with everything they got against some of these teams in the other brackets if they get there. That Dominican team is stacked. We know that Japan always comes to play in this tournament. They bring their best baseball. But you got to think that he would like to rely on some home runs. I know the teams that are watching from their clubhouses would prefer that too.
Harper in a hitter's count at 2-0. And he'll take one at the top of the zone for a strike. Another sweeper from Takahashi.
There's the pitching backwards, Wayno. 2-0, little slider, little get me over, break them all to try to jump back in the count. Can't be predictable. Can't give these guys predictable at-bats.
Judge waits on deck. Harper waits for a 2-1. And fouls it back 2-2. So you see some of the speed differential, about 10, 11 mile an hour difference in the early going from Takahashi. There is Yuichi Matsumoto, who is the Sao Paulo, Brazil native, became a Japanese citizen about 2 decades ago. The coach for the Yakult Swallows out in Japan. He played for Brazil in 2013. It's an honor for him, he said, to be the manager of this group. 2-2 pitch. Harper didn't want to pull the trigger, and rightfully so, is just out of the zone to run the count full. And the captain waits on deck. With the leadoff single, he's at first. just underway in Pool B for the United States. And a 3-2 to Harper. Witt goes. Harper strikes out, but Witt, who stole 38 bags last year, is into second in plenty of time. And Judge will have a man in scoring position, but Takahashi gets the strikeout of Harper.
We liked his changeup in the first at bat. We saw him get 0-2, and then he went straight to that changeup. Went right back to it right there ahead of the count to Harper. He's mixed well so far. He's located his pitches, and that changeup's pretty effective.
Now let's see how he deals with the towering Aaron Judge. Fastball inside for a ball.
I like it.
Yeah.
Running one in on Aaron Judge, first pitch. Trying to get him off the balls away. The problem is if you miss, it's a homer.
Judge hit 53 of them a year ago. Holds back, and it tails outside. He's ahead in the count, 2-0. Everybody knows about Aaron Judge's power, prodigious to say the least, one of the great power hitters of this generation. But he also hit 331 last year, the most home runs ever hit by a batting champion. Our Cam and a 2-0 pitch, and it is inside for another ball.
Just watch the way this American lineup stays in the strike zone. You're going to have to throw these guys strikes, and with the pitch count regulations that are on all these teams, it's going to be hard for a starter to get past 2 or 3 innings at any point because these guys, a lot of them don't chase.
Judge swings, launches it deep left field, heading towards the wall. It is gone. Aaron Judge, the captain, sets the tone in Houston. It's 2-0 United States. He was the first commit to the team 11 months ago. And if you're going to be the captain, that's a way to set the tone for your club.
Yeah, and he gets this little sweeper, tries to get it down and away from him, but Aaron Judge does not miss thigh-high balls across the middle, all the way across the zone, really.
Now Schwarber will take one inside.
3-0. Mark DeRosa said 3-0, you can hit Aaron Judge. And they knew it. Brazil knew it. They tried to fool him with the little sweeper slider. But again, 3-0 right down the middle. First at bat, that's got to feel so good for Aaron Judge.
Do you think because they've been pitching backwards, do you think that they came, like Aaron Judge went up there 3-0 going, there's no way he's going to throw me a fastball. I'm sitting absolutely. Yeah, that's what I think. I think he was sitting slow right there for sure.
First base open.
Yep.
He's thinking they're not challenging me. If they do, he's going to get me over breaking ball and whack.
Now another 3-0 count, and Schwarber will take a strike.
And again, 3-0 curveball. Now, if you're Takahashi, do you want to challenge Schwarber at 3-1? Maybe surprise him. Because if it gets to 3-2, I would think he's not throwing a heater.
Schwarber sends one towards center field. Racing in is Maciel, and that will drop in front of him for a base hit. So 3 of the top 4 for the United States have reached base to start off this tournament. So Alex Bregman, the former Houston Astro, has hit 96 home runs in this ballpark. Long tenured Houston Astros with the Red Sox last year and just signed a 5-year deal with the Chicago Cubs. He'll climb into familiar territory and take a big hack at a fastball. Bregman in his second World Baseball Classic, but his last one was in 2017 when the United States won gold. He was the youngest player on that gold medal winning team. This year, the youngest player on the U.S. is a teammate of Bregman's from last year with the Red Sox. It'll be Roman Anthony at 21 years of age. There's Bregman now in his 30s. Two balls and a strike on Alex Bregman.
Now, how fast does, as a pitcher, Waino, you get scared out of the strike zone. 3-0, homer. 3-1, you throw your fastball. Schwarber rips it to center. How careful do you think Takahashi's going to be now? Because maybe scared out of the zone a little bit.
Yeah, we've already seen a few 3-0 counts. He's behind again, 2-1 here. He's going to have to attack him. But there's really no holes in this lineup. This is tough, man.
There's no break, right?
Tough.
Well, we saw it in a couple of exhibition games this week. The United States played San Francisco. They played Colorado and put up a combined 29 runs in those two games. And all the pitchers that had to go through those lineups, they just said there's no break. You're constantly breathing hard, trying to figure out how to attack these incredibly talented hitters. A 3-1. Bregman fouls it back to run it full. Again,
watch, they don't chase either.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to keep saying this as Joseph Contreras, who's all of 17 years old, is warming up. But they don't chase. Bregman's known for not chasing. Judge doesn't chase.
Harper either.
Schwarber doesn't chase.
Yep.
Cal Raleigh doesn't chase. It's just there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide for the pitcher.
There's a 3-2 to Bregman. And he'll take inside, held back. It's a walk. That'll push Schwarber to second base. You did see that bullpen loosening up. The 17-year-old Joseph Contreras along with Murilo Gouveia. And Takahashi already at 26 pitches in this opening frame. The 29-year-old is running into some more trouble. And we will see a visit from Andre Rienzo, who's the pitching coach for Team Brazil.
I think what you said, AJ, is it can't be understated, because especially the middle of the order. You know, when you got guys in the bottom half that don't chase, you can still attack them, you know, and feel confident about it. But when you have guys in the middle of the order, especially 5 in a row, five of your dogs in the middle of the order that don't chase out of the strike zone, that complicates things dramatically.
Yeah, and think about this. So 4 of the first 5 have reached. Now guess who's hitting 6th?
The guy who led Major League Baseball in home runs last year.
Cal Raleigh's up, and he had 60 homers last year. It's just a gluttony of riches for the U.S. and Mark DeRosa.
Back-to-back World Baseball Classics as the manager. But DeRosa had time this time around to help build up this roster a little deeper. Kind of got thrust into it in a short period before the 23 WBC, and this time around he took his time. That's part of the reason that this is, as AJ I think properly framed it, a dream team like roster for the United States. A switch hitting 60 home run hitter Raleigh takes a big cut at a fastball that's 1-1.
And I'll say this about Mark DeRosa. I've been his teammate and played for him in the WBC in 2023, and he is the perfect manager for this setting. Especially, he is the best I've ever played with at bringing a team together. He's the pulse of the team when he was a player, and he's almost the pulse of the team as the manager. You know, he just has that great personality that brings guys together. The big league dinners that you see the stories about, and the plane rides, it's always about camaraderie and their stories and all that stuff. When you bring a team together like that, it's a really dangerous team, and he is the best at it.
The Pied Piper, so to speak, to bring all these guys together. Good changeup from Takahashi to get a strike on Raleigh. That was the 30th pitch of this opening inning for Bo Takahashi. The durable Cal Raleigh waits and bounces one foul. Still 2-2. Schwarber singled. Bregman walked him into scoring position. Here's a little tapper back to the mound. Takahashi has it. Goes to first to Carvalho, and that'll be the second out of the inning. Both Schwarber and Bregman advance. 2 in scoring position for Roman Anthony.
That's a huge out for Takahashi right there.
It certainly is.
Kept it on the infield. But also, you know, this is so early on. DeRosa said it best earlier. He said, what, these guys have 8 at-bats before they came here? You know, they're still going to maybe chase more than they normally do.
You might see it a little bit more from a younger player like a Roman Anthony, just 21 years of age. Got the spot after Corbin Carroll was one of several players we've seen suffer a hamate bone injury in spring training and prior to it. So that roster spot opened up, and the Boston Red Sox Anthony took it and took a big cut, 1-1.
Imagine being 21 years old on this team.
Yep.
Learning from Judge, Schwarber, Bregman, Raleigh, Bobby Witt, who was the young guy last time, as you know, Waino, on this team.
There's a 1-1 off the end of the bat and flared foul, 1-2, and a chance for Takahashi to get out of this inning with about as limited damage as you can have considering this lineup.
Yeah, but the problem is, how many pitches are we at?
Already 35 in this inning, AJ.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He was already expected to go maybe 3 innings, and then Brazil would have to piecemeal it together after that, and that may cut into the plans, this pitch count for Matsumoto. One-two pitch to Roman Anthony is upstairs. Top prospect in baseball last year, made his major league debut. Performed well right out of the gate.
Takahashi's going to go home. They're going to say, how'd you do? He says, I struck out Bryce Harper, and I got Cat Raleigh to tap out to the pitcher.
And maybe get Roman Anthony to ground out and leave 2 superstars stranded in scoring position. All things considered for Brazil, that's a small victory. But this was a big swing. And Aaron Judge, you got to set the tone in the World Baseball Classic, he said. He proved it with the bat, 2-0 U.S. Here is Yuichi Matsumoto's Brazilian lineup, featuring a couple of sons of ex-major leaguers. Lucas Ramirez is the son of Manny Ramirez. Dante Bichette Jr., the son of Dante Bichette, brother of Bo. The man in the 3 spot is the Brazilian baseball legend, the 35-year-old Leonardo Reginato, who is playing his final games in a Brazilian national team uniform. They'll go up against, as you call them, Waino, Mr. Consistency, Logan Webb.
Mr. Consistent. Last 3 years led the league in innings pitched. He's got some great stuff. Last year, the most strikeouts of his entire career.
They'll face Manny Ramirez's son and start with a sinker.
I love to see guys who continue to get better, and he does that every year. He continues to get better. Always has the low ERA. You'll see he's going to throw lots of pitches up there, but watch his low arm angle and the good sink he's got.
Lucas Ramirez strokes one deep to right field. That is back at the wall, and it's gone. Lucas being Lucas. This kid's got power, and he shows it off against Webb and the U.S. And Brazil is on the board right out of the gate. He took Jacob deGrom deep earlier this week in an exhibition game for Team Brazil. And the son of a man who's got a lot of home runs in his major league career cranks one to right.
It's not quite Yankees Red Sox, but Aaron Judge and Manny Ramirez's son going deep in the first inning.
What a moment for 20-year-old Lucas Ramirez. Now here's Osvaldo Carvalho.
Clips it out front. Waino, he just catches it out front. It was ahead in the count. Short, got the head to it. And you mentioned the hitters being not sharp. The pitchers also. Logan Webb hasn't had that many opportunities to get out there in spring training. So, boom, they jump right back on the USA a little bit.
2 balls and no strikes on Carvalho as Webb comes home. And it's fouled away. Ken Rosenthal down to the field. You can add.
Adam, how many players have hit home runs off Jacob deGrom and Logan Webb in the same week? Lucas told me before the game that the home run off deGrom was special to him because he watched him growing up. As you guys said, he's 20 years old. He's a left-handed hitter, unlike his dad, but he wears the same number, 24.
He said he does not feel pressure. I got here on my own. My father helped me along the way, but I feel like I earned my way here. And the Los Angeles Angels prospect gets a solo home run for Team Brazil. A 3-1 pitch to Carvalho is on the corner for a strike.
And that's got to help your confidence as an A-ball player, hitting a home run off someone like Logan Webb in this atmosphere. And the Angels got to look at it and say,
yeah,
Gotta take a little better look at Mr. Ramirez.
And DeGrom.
Pretty big week. Now this one lifted deep to left off the bat of Carvalho. All the way to the warning track. It will push Roman Anthony for out number 1.
Some people's step their game up when the lights come on, AJ. And that's just, I mean, look, you can be, it doesn't matter what round you're drafted in after a while. It's what you do between the lines. That's a good swing. I like that bat path.
It went down to get it. Well, there's the captain. What Aaron Judge is to Team USA, Leonardo Reginato is for Team Brazil. He takes a cut at a Logan Webb sinker. 0-1 the count. This is a big week for Leonardo Reginato. He knows that these are likely the last games he will play at the highest possible levels. He has had a long and storied Brazilian national team career. He's played in every game for Brazil, every qualifying game and every tournament game at the WBC for his country. .62 shortstop is going to become a coach in the Rays organization this year. Close pitch from Webb, but off the plate, 2-1.
And you see that good movement that Logan's got on that comeback sinker right there. He's got that arm angle. It's only 22 degrees. It's almost sidearm. He's going to have a great change that works off of that. He's got top 98 percentile on his changeup run value.
And he gets Reginato to bounce one to second base to Bryce Terang. Excellent defensive second baseman throws out Reginato, and there are 2 down. So after the leadoff home run, surprised Webb. He gets the next 2 batters and now faces Dante Bichette Jr., who you will not miss at all if you look out onto the field. At the bright dyed green hair.
He looks like a Bichette, though, doesn't he? I mean, those, you can see it.
He has represented Brazil a couple of times at previous World Baseball Classic qualifiers. Now getting an opportunity to play in the WBC for the very first time.
He's all in. There's one thing you can't say about Dante Bichette Jr. He is not all in with the Brazil team with that. I don't know if y'all could pull that off.
Why don't we give it a shot tomorrow when we come on for USA Great Britain and see what happens. The 1-1 to Bichette and kind of a half-hearted swing. An appeal down to first base, and the first base umpire today is the crew chief Adrian Miller. He says that Bichette went around. Adrian Johnson, beg your pardon. Brendan Miller, our home plate umpire. 1-2 pitch, and there's that tailing sweeper that sails outside.
Listen, I'm watching Bichette hit. He's got one thing in mind. Yeah. He's trying to get cheat, and just like Ramirez did, get the head out and try to hit one in the Crawford boxes. He has got everything going forward. He is just thinking about one thing.
That's the only way you offer it, something in the other batter's box, isn't it?
No, because I did it plenty of times. And I didn't hit a lot of homers. It's more you predetermine your swinging.
You still had it in your mind, though.
Yeah, but right here, if he predetermines he throws him a ball, he'll swing.
Payoff pitch to Bichette, and he wasn't going to swing. He took the sinker, perfectly placed. But Lucas Ramirez, what a debut in the World Baseball Classic. The 20-year-old bangs one out. It's 2-1 through 1. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Nutrafol, the official hair growth partner of Major League Baseball. Look at the WBC exhibit at the Baseball Hall of Fame. Great crowd on hand here at Daikin Park. 3 runs scored between the teams on a couple of home runs. And Bo Takahashi, after a long first inning, is done. 17-year-old Joseph Contreras comes on to face Byron Buxton to start this second inning off. And 97 out of the gate from Contreras, the son of the former Major Leaguer and World Series champion, your old teammate, AJ.
I mean, I am just in shock that this is happening. He's 17 years old. He's a senior in high school.
At Blessed Trinity High School in Georgia.
And he told his teammates, hey, guys, you guys go enjoy playing First Academy Royals. They'd probably lose. But I'm going to pitch against Byron Buxton, Bryce Terang, Aaron Judge in the World Baseball Classic. See you guys in a few weeks.
And he gets Byron Buxton to buckle out a change, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He's got the Contreras split.
He's got the Volcom split. Yep, just like Pops.
And what's amazing to me is I played with his father for a long time. We won a World Series on this field. Now here he is making his international debut on the same field.
Incredible.
Can I just say something real quick that may have gone unnoticed? This is a 17-year-old kid, and he is completely in tune with the pitch clock already.
Yep.
He just hurried up. He's like, hey, hurry up. I got 4 seconds to the catcher. I mean, he's in control of a lot more things I would have been at 17 years old.
Yeah, I want all of you who are watching this right now, sitting at home or sitting at the bar, think about what you were doing when you were 17 years old, and then try to put that person that you remember into this setting against one of the premier players in Major League Baseball and around the world. Buxton strokes one out towards right field. On the move is Ramirez, who had the home run in the first. He gets the first out of the second.
Easy peasy.
Just like that, right?
Contreras to Ramirez. Easy peasy.
Of course. So there are your 3 sons of ex-big leaguers on this Brazilian team, all of them seeing early action in the opening.
And another ex-teammate of mine. I think we all might have been teammates. I think Manny was there with Jose with the White Sox with me. So there's teammate to teammate.
Really cool.
He's going to feel like he's playing again. No offense to his high school team. I'm sure they're great. But
Bryce Terang swings hard, sends it out towards left center field, and off the wall the opposite way. Gunning for extra bases, and he'll cruise into second with a 1-out double.
it's just not going to be the same when he gets back. That's all I'm saying.
I tell you what high school kids don't do. Hit 97 Oppo off the wall.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, Bryce Terang is a guy. I asked DeRosa earlier, I said, who's the guy that's really opened your eyes? And he said, Bryce Terang is a guy that I did not know was this good a player.
Typically been known for his defense in his tenure with Milwaukee, but last second half of last season, he exploded, had a huge year offensively. Has shown some penchant for power just like he did a moment ago. Back to the top of the order, and Bobby Witt Jr. taking a strike from the young Contreras, who has that Vulcan grip forkball, has a mid-80s slider, and we've already seen 97, 98 on the fastball. Good job behind the plate by Carmu to knock that one down. That will keep Terang at second base.
And you see where he stands on the mound. He's on the very extreme first base side of the rubber. He's just barely got his toe on there, and that's because of that Vulcan grip split right there. That gives him a chance to keep that on the plate.
Got a look at that grip momentarily and throws a curveball right near the corner of the strike zone. Ends up missing for a 2-1 count.
If he starts dropping down sidearm like his dad used to do, man, we're really going to have action. Because his dad used to throw that forkball from sidearm.
Yeah, you had a good time behind the plate trying to catch that. A check swing from Bobby Witt. Johnson says no swing, and it's 3-1.
All this can do for Joseph Contreras. He's a draft
likely
pick,
first or second round pick, yeah.
But this can only help him, not only right now, but his draft stock. If he gets out of this inning, maybe goes another inning, doesn't give up any runs, teams could say, we saw you against the best.
Yep. Well, Witt comes back to draw a walk, so after getting Buxton to line out, Terang and Witt both reach, and now you're getting into the very difficult part of the order, which I guess is kind of an oxymoron when you look at the U.S. roster, but in particular Harper and Judge to follow. Harper struck out on a changeup against Takahashi in the first. Now faces Contreras. And imagine this, two guys who probably have very similar feelings. Contreras, 17 years old, right around the age Bryce Harper was when he was thrust into the national spotlight. And here he is a decade and a half later playing in his first World Baseball Classic, just like this 17-year-old Contreras is.
Well, the biggest thing Contreras is going to notice, these big leaguers, they don't chase the balls that he's getting high school kids to chase. They see 96, 97. They think, I got to cheat to get to it, and then it opens up the split and the breaking ball. But you see Harper, you see Witt, they're not even making offers at some of these pitches.
Yep.
That's something he'll learn. Again, he's 17 years old.
Yep. He's committed to Vanderbilt, but obviously he is expected to be a high-level draft pick. The 2-0. Drops that one in. That was nice.
How about the fortitude? 1-0, you go with the changeup, you miss about a foot low. Bryce doesn't even blink at it, and you go back 2-0. Bryce is sitting dead red. He comes back with changeup and drops it in for a strike. I love this guy.
It's 2-1 to Harper, and he lays off a cutter, and it's 3-1.
But see, that's a pitch a high school kid swings at right there. And Bryce Harper just is like, yeah, no. Now 3-1. You got to challenge him because you know who's on deck. I mean, do we go fastball here? And by the way, Brazil's still using the old school signs, not even the pitch com.
3-1 is fouled away, 3-2.
Oh, great catch. (3-2). He's got to go with his bread and butter right here, right? He's going to go with the old Volcom. Watch.
2 on, 1 out. 3-2 pitch. He went with a fastball and missed high. So the bases are loaded for Aaron Judge. An incredible run last year again. While hitting 53 home runs, hit .331. He and Cal Raleigh had a battle for the MVP. And Judge came out with his 3rd career MVP nod. Already a 2-run home run in the first off Takahashi. Now he's got the bases loaded against Contreras. It takes a cut at a big-time 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
I just can't get over this. A 17-year-old high school pitcher pitching in the World Baseball Classic with the bases loaded against Aaron Judge.
And throwing 98 miles an hour, by the way. We're not 88. We're talking 98 miles an hour. And he blew it right by Judge the first pitch.
Then he can drop in a changeup right around 80, 81 miles an hour. Double and a couple of walks, though, after getting Buxton out. A ball and a strike on Judge. Breaks his bat. Ground ball to third base. Reginato throws to second. Rojo to first. And it is a double play. 17-year-old gets Aaron Judge to hit into an inning-ending double play. What a moment for Joseph Contreras. You can play the Fox Super 6 World Baseball Classic Challenge. Download the Fox Sports app right now and enter for free for a shot to win your share of $20,000 in total cash prizes. See the Fox Sports app for details. Wayno, you said it in the break, a moment that Joseph Contreras is going to talk about for the rest of his life.
The rest of his life. Bases loaded. One of the best hitters of maybe our generation up to bat. Gets him to roll over to a 5-4-3 double play, ending the inning. If somebody's at home at the watch party for this high school, send in a video of how berserk your school just went. That is one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life.
Ken Rosenthal, you're down to the field.
Well, Joseph was telling us before the game, his teammates have been downstairs partying, and he was doing math homework yesterday, social studies homework this morning. And AJ, you mentioned the draft coming up. He was excited to pitch tonight because he wanted to get some StatCast metrics on him. He's not getting that at Blessed Trinity High School.
Vitor Ito is a speedster and a good defender. He is leading things off in the second for Brazil.
No, but he could get it at First Academy because we have that stuff, Ken.
Oh,
so
big time. That's
out.
big time from AJ right there.
You know.
I mean, I still can't believe it. That's just unbelievable. That was just the coolest thing for baseball.
And you know what? He can go back out because he's built up.
Yeah.
He's been playing in high school for like well over a month. And he's been throwing multiple innings. He only threw 21 pitches. He's probably going to go back out there.
He would have only got 1 out right there in high school. He got 2 from Aaron Judge. They would have swung and missed it.
Ito bounces one to first base. Harper, who's done a nice job the last couple of years as a defender at first, makes the play for the first out. So one down for Brazil here in the home second, and Lucas Rojo is another player with affiliated ball experience for Team Brazil. 31-year-old veteran of the Brazilian national team, playing in his second World Baseball Classic. He was just 18 in 2013. He grounds one deep into the hole. It's short. Bobby Witt, a little bobble, but a long throw picked out by Harper, and the excellent defender Bobby Witt Jr., who was tied for the most outs above average in Major League Baseball last year with Pete Crow Armstrong, makes a nice play for the second half.
And he stayed with it. Watch, he bobbles this ball. It comes out of his glove, bare hands it, and makes a strong throw, steps into it. But great pick on the other end by Harper. Watch him dig this out.
Got the tweener hop, too. When you're playing first over there, that ball about hits that lip and that cut. That's the toughest one.
Victor Mascai, the left-hander, climbs in. 25-year-old from Marília, Brazil, making his WBC debut. 5 straight retired since the Lucas Ramirez home run to start off Brazil's night off of Webb. And he's quickly ahead of Mascai, 0-2, and a chance to finish off a quick inning.
This is what Webb does best. He gets ahead. He does not walk people. That's why he's able to throw 200+ innings every year. That's why he's able to keep his team in the game, go deep into the games. That low arm slot, when he's painting the bottom edge, you just can't hit the bottom of the ball.
He's trying to clip it there on a changeup, but Mascai, the former Astros prospect, does not offer it. Going into his 8th year with the San Francisco Giants, the 2-time All-Star Logan Webb. Home with a 1-2. Tried that same changeup near the same spot. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
See, that's a little bit what I talked about, the pitching not being sharp, though. That Logan Webb usually doesn't yank changeups like that. He doesn't miss by that far, usually.
And this is very much a feeling out process for the U.S. And again, as much has been made about this roster, all the accolades, we've talked ad nauseum about it. This is still game 1 in a high-level setting for the first time in 2026 for just about everybody. 3-2 on Mascai.
But you can see Logan Webb. He's a little bit, I don't want to say frustrated, but that look right there, the way he's finishing, you can tell he's not in mid-season form.
Yeah, this is spring training. I mean, you know, you're playing for your country, but this is still spring training.
He comes back with that changeup and finally puts it at a spot he wants. So 1-2-3 second, 6 in a row sent down by Webb as we head to the 3rd.
Welcome back to Daikin Park, here with Team USA manager Mark DeRosa. Mark, Joseph Contreras, he plays in the same high school circuit as your son Brooks.
Yeah, he does.
Brooks gave you a scouting report before the game. What did he say?
Yeah, it's a big heater. You see it. It's 95, 97. He's got his dad split, obviously, as well. I mean, what a position for him to be in right there. Bases loaded, Aaron Judge, and he's able to get out of it. So, yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see another ball go over the fence, but definitely impressive what he's able to do.
You did see one ball go over the fence, and this is your first time around Aaron Judge for an extended period.
Yeah.
You wanted him on this team. You wanted him as the captain. What have you learned about him in your brief time with him so far?
Yeah, special. Leader of men, process-oriented, wants things done in a uniform way, ton of respect for the other guys in the room, but certainly it revolves around him.
Logan Webb so far,
yeah.
What do you think?
I think he's looked good. Hey, listen, they're knocking a rust off right now. He's, you know, had to feel for his sweeper a little bit, his off-speed stuff, but he settled in the second inning, looked awesome.
Mark, thanks a lot. Adam, back to you.
We appreciate Mark sitting down with Ken for a moment before we get back at it. Schwarber a leadoff single, and now Bregman, who walked in the first against Takahashi, gets his first look at young Joseph Contreras. 8 of the 13 U.S. batters have reached base, and Bregman quickly ahead of the count, 2-0.
Well, we see a velocity dip, though, from Contreras, young Contreras. You mentioned it, Waino, in this commercial break. The adrenaline dump.
Yeah. That's a real thing, especially with young pitchers and even older pitchers that haven't pitched in big spots before. You can go out there and burn all that adrenaline in one quick inning if you don't watch out.
We see the fastball that time at 94.
All the way down to 94.
Sure, all the way, right? Still pretty impressive for a 17-year-old who's pitching in a huge spot. That one gets past Carmu, the catcher. Ricochets back towards the mound. It will be an easy take of second for Schwarber. And the count 3-1 on Bregman on that wild pitch. I got a great text from our good friend Brian Anderson, one of the great voices in baseball, and he made a great comparison. He said, remember in Field of Dreams when Moonlight Graham goes into the cornfields and gets to play with all the legends? That was the comparison he made. I thought it was a very apt one. This is such an interesting, cool moment. Bregman bounces one to the left side, grabbed by the veteran Reginato, but a good job by Schwarber waiting for Reginato to unleash that ball to first. He was halfway between second and third and took off, and he takes third base. A productive out it becomes for Bregman.
It was a great base running by Kyle Schwarber. The productive out, yes, but it was great base running by Schwarber. As soon as he sees the third baseman catch his ball, he realizes there's nobody there. Oh, I can go because nobody can beat me to the base. He almost took one off the dome, too.
He forgot the pitcher was 17. He actually could have beat it to the base.
Well, Schwarber with the heads-up play ends up at third. The infield on the left side for Brazil will play in against Raleigh. And therefore a strike at 95. Raleigh grounded out back to Takahashi in the first.
You mentioned the defense. I've never seen half the infield in and half the infield back before.
I've never seen that.
Does it kind of speak to just the ability to pull for Raleigh on the ground? Is that what you think they're thinking?
Yes, I just think they're. If he hit, listen, if Cal Raleigh hits the ball to the left side, it's probably going to not be hit very well. If he hits one hard to the right side, they also don't want to probably get anyone injured because it could be hit really hard.
Yep.
I mean, it makes some sense. I've just never seen it.
Usually, if you bring infield in, you bring everybody in, not just one side.
Yeah, you got Rojo and Carvalho on the right side playing deep against Raleigh, a switch hitter who's batting lefty here against the right-handed Contreras. The 2-1. 3-1 under the hands. And there's the velocity back up around 96, 97. Youngest player in this tournament.
He's got to be the youngest player ever, right?
There have been a couple of 17-year-olds that have played, and coincidentally enough, they've been on Team Brazil. Brazil has often put out younger players. Part of that is, hey, you got some young talent in the country. Part of that is trying to find enough talent to field what is a full 30-man roster for Team Brazil and for all these teams in the WBC. That one is a ball, and it gets away from Carmu, and that's going to allow Schwarber to walk home. A couple of wild pitches from Contreras. And it's 3-1 United States. Raleigh will take first base.
It's another one of those Volcom changeup splitty thingamabobbers. We've seen that miss a couple of times. He's just trying to do a little bit too much with his front size, getting out ahead of himself. That hand is overreacting and pull hooking it down left. The ones he's thrown really nice. He stayed a little bit more fluid through his delivery, made sure he was way out front and on top of that ball. It's hard not to try to do too much. I mean, look, he's doing great.
I am going to ask our graphics team to put thingamabob on his repertoire next time, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I never know to call that a split or a change.
Well, it will be the last toss for young Joseph Contreras, who gets a well-earned handshake from Yuichi Matsumoto and some love from his teammates. What a moment for the 17-year-old. Inning and a third for a 17-year-old in the World Baseball Classic. Got a double play off of Aaron Judge. Is responsible for Raleigh at first base. Schwarber has scored in this inning against the 17-year-old Contreras, and now go from one of the youngest, in fact, the youngest player in the tournament, to one of the oldest players in the tournament, 40-year-old veteran Thiago da Silva, playing in his fourth World Baseball Classic, but his first with Brazil. He has represented multiple countries. 3 times with Italy, and now with Brazil for the very first time.
And he forgot about the pitch clock because he comes in and gets a 1-0 count.
Yep, right out of the gate, the 1-0 count. You made a great point about Contreras being comfortable with the pitch clock. That is one of the things that a lot of the international players, in particular Team Brazil, have to get used to. So a 2-0 pitch to Roman Anthony. is outside on a change. Almost 2,000 professional innings across 7 different countries for Thiago da Silva, the 40-year-old. 4-pitch walk, technically 3 out of the gate, and 2 on with 1 out for the United States here in the 3rd. You can show your country pride at MLBshop.com. Check out the largest selection of authentic World Baseball Classic jerseys, caps, t-shirts, and more. MLBshop.com, the official source for all your World Baseball Classic gear.
Well, the reason it's only 3-1 and not 9-1 is because what they've been able to do once the runners have got on. Maybe he was just trying to set up the double play there, walking him.
Byron Buxton will take outside for a ball.
This is where it could get dicey for Brazil.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to Mr. Da Silva. 88 with a 70-mile-an-hour changeup. Unless it's under hitting speed, if he makes a mistake, it could go a long ways.
As you said, for the most part, the United States hitters aren't chasing. Even that changeup was in the zone that Buxton missed on.
Yeah, they're not. They have 5 walks so far. Lots of deep counts. They are working these guys. Brazil's made a couple of big pitches when they needed to, but they are still making them earn it.
Off the end of the bat, towards first, grabbed by Carvalho, throw to second. Ito will not get a throw back to first base with the pitcher Da Silva covering. The slide by Anthony prevents that. Raleigh takes third. And there are 2 down as Buxton gets the fielder's choice. As you said, guys, the U.S. just 1 for 7 so far with runners on base. So those are the types of big pitches with runners on that some of these Brazilian pitchers are making right now. So here's the 9-hitter Terang, who rang a double the other way off the left center field wall back in the 2nd.
Yeah, we might see some ABS
challenges on that pitch.
Yeah, we might see some ABS
once we get to the
regular season here.
Once we get to Major League Baseball's regular season, we've seen it prominently used in the early part of spring. There are no ABS challenges in this tournament, but there is a pitch clock. There are mercy rules as well. There are run rule possibilities. A 15-run lead after 5 or a 10-run lead after 7. Already seen 1 run rule in this tournament already from Japan. Buxton back to the bag. First and third, 2 out. Buxton takes off. The speedster has a steal. He's in a scoring position. And it's a 2-ball and 1 strike count on Terang. You know, when he's healthy, Buxton can fly. 2-1 pitch. And Terang lifts it down the left field line and is floating out of play foul.
One thing I love about what the Brazil veteran pitchers, not Contreras because he hasn't gotten this point yet, they're changing up their motions. They're doing double leg kicks right there. Da Silva went to like the Louis T on him and show you my back before I come through. Just trying to mess up these guys' timing because they know their stuff is not good enough to get them out consistently.
How many different countries did you say he played in?
7 different countries.
You know he's picked up some things along the way, a little craftiness to himself.
He's going to turn 41 at the end of this month. Thiago da Silva. Terang off the end of the bat, flips it out to left. Maskai is there, and that'll do it. The leadoff single from Schwarber. He comes around to score. That extends the U.S. lead. It's 3-1 through 2.5. Welcome back to the 2026 World Baseball Classic on Fox, presented by Capital One. Opening game of pool play for the United States and Brazil, and a 3-1 U.S. lead. As Logan Webb will throw just his 30th pitch so far. It'll come to the Brazilian catcher Gabriel Carmu, a 30-year-old from Morelia, making his World Baseball Classic debut. He's been a consistent sight behind the plate during the qualifiers for Brazil. Little tapper to the third base side of the mound. Nice solid play by a Gold Glover in Logan Webb.
I love what he did right there. Kids watching at home. Gets over there at good time. Gets his feet set. It was really well done right there.
Defends his position very well. 4 ground ball outs through 8 batters. He has retired 7 straight since the surprise Lucas Ramirez homer to begin the night for Brazil. And now the 9-hitter is a switch hitter, Gabriel Maciel, the Brazilian center fielder.
Brazil's on his 3rd inning. Or Brazil's on their 3rd pitcher, excuse me. And here Logan Webb is 2 1/3, 32 pitches.
Yeah.
A little difference.
On foul tip, 0-2. Ken Rosenthal's down to the field. Kenny?
Adam, Mark DeRosa wanted Logan Webb for the 2023 team, but at the time, Webb was in the middle of negotiating an extension with the Giants. This time, he was again torn, but in early November, the unlikely trio of Team USA bullpen coach David Ross, ESPN star Pat McAfee, and country singer Ernest convinced him to play. The group was gathered on Ernest's tour bus before his show at the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville. They basically put the squeeze on Webb, and after Webb finally said, "I'm in," Ernest played a recording of Ray Charles's version of America the Beautiful on the bus. They all toasted the USA, and then Ernest took the stage.
That's a pretty great story. A Rockland, California native representing the United States in his first World Baseball Classic. And I agree with you, Wayno. Just a very solid option to try to set the tone in game 1. And a very nice sinker there to freeze Maciel. 1 time through the order, gave up a home run, and then retired the next 8, 3 on strikeouts.
And he's missed a few. He's missed a few here and there, but this looks like Logan Webb. I mean, he's going to run that sinker in on you. He's going to throw that 4-seamer every now and then at the top to get you off of it, work the changeup off of it, but he's a master of location and mixing speeds.
Here's the one guy that has touched him so far. It was the 20-year-old from Florida, the son of Manny Ramirez, getting a ball over the right field wall. Just off the plate on a change, and it's 2-0 on Ramirez, who is Brazilian on his mom's side. There is his father of 555 Major League home runs. Out in front of that change that time. Manny was in the crowd the other day when Lucas took Jacob deGrom deep, and he got to watch Lucas do it on a bigger stage here today.
He's having a week. He's having a week.
Dad on the payroll.
He's having a week.
There's a 2-1. And some nice movement on that slider sweeper. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So I think if I'm thinking like Logan's thinking, what we saw him get out extended really well that first at bat, might like the ball middle out away from him. What just happened?
Well, we had a violation there. That's how the inning comes to an end. Logan Webb, all he could do was crack a smile there, and ends up ending the 3rd inning. You can switch to T-Mobile and get free MLB.TV, available March 24th through the 30th at T-Mobile.com/MLB. That's got to be a weird first 2 at-bats. Quite the juxtaposition for young Lucas Ramirez. A solo home run and then didn't get back into the batter's box in time. And a pitch clock violation leads to a de facto strikeout to end that 3rd inning for Logan Webb.
What's he telling everybody, AJ?
I would have taken him deep if he just would have thrown me another pitch. Umpire, man.
Umpire took that away from me.
Messed me up.
3rd time through the order for the United States offense as we head to the 4th inning. Bobby Witt Jr. leads it off against the 40-year-old Thiago da Silva. Already an infield single, a steal, a run, and a walk for Witt.
Wayno, what'd you say? Da Silva might fool him because he doesn't go hard enough. Maybe one time through.
One time through.
That's all they need.
There's a strike.
USA hitters aren't used to seeing 88. 88 now is changeups and curveballs for a lot of guys.
But there's nothing wrong with 88.
Well, you do it your whole career, so no.
Witt tries to hold up, and he does. it's interesting to see how this roster is constructed. I made a comment to Mark DeRosa because of the ability to kind of pick and choose who you bring into this roster. You kind of get to construct the lineup in a more traditional fashion. You can have some more speed at the top. There's so much power that you can layer throughout your lineup. As Witt will foul one up the third baseline. Then you go back down to the bottom of the order. You got more speed. You got Buxton. You got Terang. Guys that still have some pop. Again, another element to what makes this United States offense very dangerous.
Well, he sped him up. 88 up on his hands right here. He's got that slow pitch down and away. And if Bobby does have a weakness, it's probably that down and away pitch.
2-2 to Bobby. And he'll run the count full.
No, he tried to sneak him right there. He was hoping he could throw that on the outside corner, run it back. Now you got to go slow pitch here, right?
Have to.
Payoff to Witt, and he fouls it back.
See, but Bobby was closer on that one, right? Because he's seen it before. And he's also thinking in his mind, he's not going to challenge me with 88.
Harper on deck. Only Luis Ariz has had more hits than Bobby Witt Jr. since the start of the 23 season. He lifts this one down the right field line. Carvalho giving chase, twisting around, and sees that one hit the netting. How about Ariz in Venezuela? They got off to a red-hot start as well today. Venezuela playing in Miami in Pool D with Israel, the Netherlands, Nicaragua, and the Dominican Republic. It's largely expected that the Dominicans and Venezuelans will be the two to represent Pool D in the knockout stages.
I saw Team Israel. I was doing a spring training tour and saw them back-to-back days. They have the best shirts. It said Matzo Ballers, and it had a bunch of baseballs in a soup.
3-2 pitch. Witt golfs one high in the air. It's headed towards the roof.
Hit the roof. That's in play.
That's in play.
That's in play.
If it is in foul territory,
he called it foul.
And it hits the roof in foul territory, it's ruled a dead ball. And the home plate umpire, Brendan Miller, says that that was in foul territory when it hit one of the railings on the roof here at Dyken Park. Part of the ground rules here at this venue, and Witt really got into that one to lift it all the way to the roof here.
I've never seen that. Have you ever seen a ball hit the roof here?
Yeah. I have that.
Well, not the Pujols one that hit the roof and left over the train.
That ball's still going up.
So it was determined and was off one of those railings that seems to run almost parallel with the third base line. If it is deemed to be in foul territory when it makes contact with the roof, it is a foul ball. This time he grounds one on the 9th pitch of the at-bat to Reginato. Long throw, great speed, but Witt is retired. And there's the first out of the 4th inning around the WBC so far. Fun game between Mexico and Great Britain until Jonathan Aranda's go-ahead home run in the 8th, and then they finished it off solidly 8-2. Shohei Ohtani within the first couple of innings was a triple shy of the cycle for Team Japan as they mercy ruled Chinese Taipei. And as we mentioned, Luis Ariz, Ronald Acuna, and company doing it big for Venezuela today. One down. Harper way out in front of that 76-mile-an-hour changeup from De Silva.
Ariz is so tough in this format. He was so tough in 23. I saw him hit one of the biggest home runs right down the line off a ball. Almost hit him in the neck by Bednar. He gets up for these moments.
Quickly 0-2 on Harper, who has struck out and walked. Off the end of the bat, out towards left. Maskai was playing over towards the gap. A long run to the track and a little flare to make the play for the second out. 2 up and 2 down for De Silva. We talked about Japan and what they were able to do out in Tokyo, and Shohei Ohtani back up to his old tricks.
Doesn't it seem like every time he's up in a big moment, he does something really cool? Grand slam in the Tokyo Dome, bat flip. Almost hit for the cycle in, what, the second inning?
Second inning. At a
See the
10-run
pitcher's
break.
reaction?
Yeah. It's like, well,
Like, what am I supposed to do? I threw a curveball 2 inches off the ground, and he still pulled it for a homer.
here's Judge. First pitch swinging out to center field, pushing Maciel all the way back near the track. And a nice job by the 40-year-old Thiago da Silva. He gets through the top of the United States order in order and has a big smile on that grizzled veteran face of his. 3-1 U.S. Back at it tomorrow for the WBC. United States will have its second game of pool play as they take on Great Britain at 8 o'clock Eastern time right here on Fox. Logan Webb has breezed through the last couple of innings, and he will face the 24-year-old construction worker Osvaldo Carvalho with action behind him in the United States bullpen. That was just the 40th pitch for Webb so far. Carvalho will take a strike, a utility player who has played some shortstop. He's playing first base today. Actually had to ask permission from his construction company to come play at the WBC.
That was going to be my question. What does he do for the construction company?
He does basic things that you might see around any city you might go to.
Is he a carpenter? Is he a
He's
plumber?
done a little bit of carpentry.
Electrician?
He's done a little bit of bricklaying. He's done mortar.
He's a utility player.
He's a utility player and a utility construction worker. One of the favorites for Brazil. He told the guys that this is our World Cup of baseball. Just like obviously Brazil is a huge soccer country. It's the national sport. But in the 1920s, with a slew of Japanese immigrants coming to Brazil, they brought the sport of baseball, which has become one of the secondary sports in terms of popularity around the large South American country. So Carvalho got steered towards baseball when he was 5 years old. He said his dad wanted him to become a soccer player, but baseball was more appealing to him. It got him more excited. He started doing construction during COVID. He was just trying to make ends meet, understandably so. And he has kept that job for the last 6 years. Broken bat roller up the first baseline, foul. Still 2-2 on Carvalho.
Well, good thing he knows a lot about lumber because he needs a new piece here, Adam.
Oh, that was well done, A.J. Well done, my friend. Right, that was perfectly spotted. You see him getting a new piece of wood there. Got a big smile on his face often. That's what his teammates love about him. He's laid down pavement on highways and now playing on the biggest stage internationally for baseball.
I can't believe they let that bag be on the field. The bag of toys.
Yeah, they got all their stuff right near the on-deck circle.
Usually it's laid out. They have just a bag down there. It looks like a lunchbox they got full of pine tars.
I was going to say lunch pail style right there. 2-2 pitch, and he goes swinging wildly at that changeup for a fifth Logan Webb strikeout. He's retired the last 3 and for the last 5 for Brazil on the strikeout.
You look at the spin on that pitch, you look at the shape on that pitch, it's exactly like his sinker. It's just what, 7-8 miles an hour slower, but it works off the exact same tunnel. It's just such great execution.
Now he faces the 35-year-old Reginado and pours in a strike.
By the way, Brazil started 1 for 1. They're 0 for 10 since.
That is 10 straight retired now by Webb after the Ramirez solo home run that got them on the board in the first. Flip towards Witt. He's got it. And quickly 2 up and 2 down here in the fourth. So now Dante Bichette Jr. will climb in. 33 years of age, making his WBC debut. Of course, he and his brother Bo have both played for Brazil before because of their mother Mariana, who's a native of Porto Alegre in Brazil. Bo was going to play for Brazil this year, but obviously a big change for him. He just signed that 3-year deal with the New York Mets, and because of the position change that Bo is going to go through, he opted to stay in spring training and work on that for his new major league team. Ball and 2 strikes on Dante Bichette Jr. Alphonse Dante Bichette Jr. There's a 1-2 pitch. And he goes down swinging. Really solid work from Logan Webb as he works through 4 innings. And after that leadoff home run, has sailed through the Brazilian order through 4. Starting up the World Baseball Classic this week, and of course, the Japanese team winning the first 2. The Dominican Republic, which continues to produce an incredibly high amount of great Major League players, winning it in 2013. The U.S. won it 9 years ago, canceled in 2020. Japan came back to further establish its international dominance in that classic finale against the United States. Those are the past champions, as the U.S. with its dream team, Andy Pettitte, the pitching coach, and their opening pitcher, Logan Webb, after giving up that first hit and solo home run to Ramirez, retires the next 12 and finishes off his day.
Yeah, and that's just masterful pitching right there, and such a great lesson. Big deal. You gave up a leadoff home run. He got right back to pitching. He controlled the counts. He did what he always does. He kept the ball down. He moved it around a little bit, worked his cutter and his sweeper. But that changeup was the X factor today, AJ. That thing was swing and miss. It was strikes when he needed it. It was balls when he wanted to. It was a really great performance. The leadoff homer didn't faze him at all. That's what pitching's all about.
10 swings and misses on those 52 pitches from Webb. And now the U.S. offense back to work against the 33-year-old Thiago Vieira. It'll be 4, 5, and 6. Schwarber, Bregman, and Raleigh against the right-hander who's pitching in his second World Baseball Classic for Brazil.
See, now they're going back to guys that throw a little more normal. 93, the first pitch. See how U.S. makes an adjustment to seeing a little more normal velocity.
Former major leaguer here in Vieira, and he pours in a strike against Schwarber.
He ran by us today. He's a tank.
Who, Schwarber?
Him too, but I'm talking about Vieira.
Yeah, he's a big man at 6'2", 210 pounds, the former Seattle Mariner. And a breaking ball is grounded to the hole at second. Rojo, the second baseman, with a diving play. And the veteran Vieira covers the bag for the out.
Nice play here. Fundamentals, we're talking about being in spring training. PFP, Wayno. Get over there right away. Schwarber thinks he's got a knock once he gets by the first baseman. But no.
Great play.
And by the way, Vieira is 210 pounds and you're 6'7".
That's what I wasn't going to say it. But that's more your speed right there, AJ. But I'm telling you, he is not 210.
Maybe that was his 2013 weight.
His
at the first
right
WBC.
leg is 210.
That's a very fair point. Just the visual does not match the written weight. He's got velocity, as you guys talked about. About 5 years ago, he was pitching in Japan. And obviously, you know, Shohei Ohtani has set a million records in Japan, whether it's for offense or for pitching. Obviously, Shohei is one of the first guys to throw 103 miles an hour, 102, 103 in Japan. Vieira broke Ohtani's velocity record 5 years ago in Japanese baseball. He threw a fastball 103.1 miles an hour.
Wow.
Last pitched in the big leagues a couple of years ago and was still throwing in the high 90s, 97, 98, 99. Former Mariner, White Sox, Brewer, Oriole, and Diamondback. One of just 5 Brazilian-born players to ever reach Major League Baseball. 3 of the other 4 are big parts of the Brazilian coaching staff, as Bregman will take the walk. He's aboard with 1 out.
Yeah, you can tell he's not feeling so good right now. He may have grabbed his calf on the way back from covering first. I saw him grimace after that last pitch.
And you see the training staff coming out to check on him. And one of those guys, Andre Rienzo, who is the pitching coach, he is one of the other Brazilian-born players to reach Major League Baseball. We all know Yan Gomes, longtime catcher. He's part of the coaching staff for Brazil. Rienzo's the pitching coach. Paulo Orlando, who spent 4 years with the Kansas City Royals, part of their World Series run in 2015. He's the hitting coach for Brazil. Luis Gohara played for the Braves about 10 years ago. And Vieira is the other major leaguer out of Brazil.
This is when there's a little grimace, a little bit of a limp there.
And then grabs the calf here.
But he does not want to come out. By the way, Paulo Orlando, White Sox spring training legend. Ozzie Guillen and Joey Cora could not get him in the spring training games fast enough.
Wasn't he an Olympic sprinter too?
Yeah, he was so fast. They just wanted him in the game to hit a ground ball and run as fast as he could. They loved Paulo Orlando.
Here's Cal Raleigh with Bregman at first. The U.S. offense has walked 6 times, but none of those players have come around to score. U.S. is just 1 for 8 with runners on base so far in this game. They have stranded 6. Raleigh is grounded out and walked. There's the fastball from Vieira, missing down and away.
See, this is what's crazy about baseball. It's not basketball. It's not some other sports where you can just out-talent teams. If things don't go right, you can be in a closer game. You know something about out-talenting people.
And multiple talents for the now photographer Ken Griffey Jr. watching Cal Raleigh.
I saw him at the Masters taking pictures.
He has become quite the photographer, Jr. has.
You know why he started doing that? Because he would go watch his kids play sports, and he could go hide somewhere and no one would bother him.
Yeah.
Could stand on the field and be on the sidelines, kind of have the camera set up. Let's see if we can get a couple of those shots sent to us. See what they look like.
What's he do with them? What's he do with the pictures?
I don't know. Lots of White Sox legends here tonight, by the way. Manny, Ken Griffey Jr., Paulo Orlando, Vieira's a White Sox legend. There's a lot of White Sox legends involved in this game
I
right
like
now.
how you went with Ken Griffey Jr. being the White Sox legend.
Manny Ramirez, White Sox legend.
Great call.
I think his last career home run was as a White Sox.
Well, between Jr. and Manny, it's a lot of bombs. The 3-1 delivery, and Raleigh takes outside. So back-to-back one-out walks since Vieira had to go over on that nice Rojo play and cover first base. And he was grabbing at that left calf. He has been a little wild since.
Yeah, he's not able to get out over that front leg and finish. You can see him. He's just not able to finish his pitches. You can't let him keep going.
Yeah, Yuichi Matsumoto is going to pull the plug here to make sure that Vieira doesn't deal with anything physically beyond what he's already dealing with. There you see Yuji Izawa, the excellent interpreter for Team Brazil, walking out there as well. From the WBC Classic to all the spring training games, we've got you covered. You can get personalized highlights and push notifications just for you. Download the MLB app, the #1 app for live baseball. So it'll be Gabriel Barbosa, who was a Rule 5 pick out of the Yankees system, acquired by Philadelphia a couple of years ago. Born in Brazil, has pitched at multiple levels for the Philadelphia Phillies in the minor leagues. Heavy slider. He's got a four-seamer, a cutter, a sinker, a curve, and a changeup. So a wide repertoire for the 6-foot, 24-year-old from Bastos. He's got 2 aboard with Bregman and Raleigh facing Roman Anthony. And he had a pitch clock violation right out of the gate. We've seen a few of those already from Brazil, from the mound and at the plate. In fact, Anthony was at the plate the last time they had a pitching pitch clock violation. It's quickly 2-0 on him.
This is one of the great young stars of all of Major League Baseball, in my opinion. I think he has got such a bright future. I asked Matt Holliday, whose bat's the loudest right now in the cage? Roman Anthony.
A guy who stepped into the spotlight in Boston with heavy expectations, and his manager Alex Cora told us last year he handled them very well. It'll be a 3-pitch walk, so to speak, after the pitch clock violation, and the bases are loaded. 3 straight walks after Schwarber was retired on that nice defensive play. Now the home plate umpire, I don't think the base runners realized that there was a pitch clock violation on the first pitch. So you saw Bregman and Raleigh both waiting at their bases.
It's like, we're not falling for that.
We're not falling for this hidden pitch clock trick. And I think Yuichi Matsumoto didn't realize that there had been a pitch clock violation as well. So he's out there with Yuji Izawa talking with Brendan Miller.
Things you never thought you'd see. Clock violations in Major League, or any baseball, but especially a Major League Baseball tournament like this.
It's quite the change, right?
It is.
For a lot of the international players that maybe played for Brazil in 2013, the last time they were in the WBC, they don't usually use pitch clocks in their play, and in a lot of the leagues that a lot of these players play in, they don't use pitch clocks. And that was one of the adjustments that Yuichi talked about with us through his interpreter, Yuji Izawa. It was a fascinating conversation held in multiple languages, in English, Spanish, Japanese, and Portuguese.
Can we call a pitch clock violation on the umpire now for this meeting taking so long?
This is taking longer than the pitch clock, essentially. Is that a rule that you would implement if the argument is longer than the pitch clock? Then
he speaks 5 languages. He just doesn't speak English. He speaks. We were listening to his meeting today, and he was talking in Portuguese and in Japanese. It was fascinating.
Yuichi Matsumoto is born as Daniel Matsumoto. He was born in Sao Paulo. He's 45 years of age now. He's a third-generation Japanese-Brazilian. Both of his parents are Japanese immigrants. As we told you, there is a very large Japanese population in Brazil that had immigrated over about a century ago, helping to bring the sport of baseball and some of its tactical nature to the flair and flash of Brazilian athletics. Yuichi became a Japanese citizen in 2004 and changed his name as a professional to Yuichi, and that change in citizenship helped the Japanese teams that he was playing for, because you have a foreign player limit. You can only have 2 or 3 foreign players depending on which league you're playing in Japan. So to become a Japanese citizen, use a Japanese name, that actually helped this team out, allowing them to get more foreign-born talent. Here's Buxton with the bases loaded, going after the first one on a slider from Barbosa.
This is where Brazil can really get into trouble. The walks. Now, the U.S. hasn't paid any of them off yet, but you just can't keep giving this team all these chance after chance after chance. At some point, they're going to break through. Walk the bases loaded. Now you got to face Buxton, who's hitting 8th.
It's an interesting strategy. Can't hit it over the fence if you get walked every time.
Buxton goes after another breaking ball. Got a foul tip on it.
That slider's nasty.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's a dirty slider.
That's nasty. Hey.
Hey, they're showing Adam Wainwright in our booth and A.J. Pierzynski. Caught us by surprise there, too. Another slider from Barbosa. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
So this is the sequence I really love right here. He throws the nasty slider outside. He offers at it. He throws the nasty slider outside again. He doesn't offer at it. Does he have a comeback sinker that he can throw out there now that he said, I'm not swinging that anymore? Does he have that comeback sinker over the outer side half?
I'm just throwing the other slider again.
Jammed him that time, and it's fouled
No,
back.
but it's not as cool, though.
No, but I mean,
still strike out looking after the mind games. That's awesome.
He tried the backup slider right there, by the way, that didn't work. The old backup front door doesn't break. Doesn't break, and you get the guy to swing and miss.
That is the pitch he used more than any other at A-ball last year. That's where he spent most of his time in the Phillies organization. About 1 out of every 3 pitches he threw was that nasty slider. 1-2 delivery, and a fastball comes in on Buxton at 92. That is going to bring home the 4th United States run, but it comes at some pain for Buxton in the process.
Got him in the hand, I think. That's exactly where you didn't want to see him get hit.
RBI the hard way, and it's 4-1 USA.
Anywhere but the hand, right? AJ?
Yeah, hand, wrist area as a hitter. But see, that's the toughest one, because as a hitter, he's throwing you a bunch of sliders. You see that ball come out of the hand and thinks it's a slider.
Oh, got him in the elbow.
Okay. Yep.
Elbow. So that nerve he's feeling that nerve in his hand right now.
They're checking on the hand to make sure.
Yes.
That's much better.
But still, here's the thing. If he goes down, if he's not able to continue, they just bring in Pete Crow Armstrong. He's not bad.
That gets you right there in that ulnar nerve. You shock all the way down into the hands, right?
Yeah, your hand goes numb. You're thinking your arm's going to fall off, and give it about 30 seconds and it all comes back to you.
So he's aboard at first. Bregman finally comes around. Raleigh to third, Anthony to second, and now Terang will come to the plate. And the U.S. still looking for a second hit with a runner on base. First home run that Bryce Terang ever hit in Major League Baseball was a grand slam. He's got the bases juiced here in the fifth. He lifts one out towards left field. Ranging back, it is Muskai trying to find the ball. He loses it, and this could score all three. It will score all three. Terang clears the bags, and the U.S. finally breaks through in the fifth. You were telling me earlier, A.J., that left field area, an interesting one to try to play at this particular ballpark.
It's always interesting where the left fielder positions. You usually position right on the corner of that giant wall behind him. But this ball, if he could have got to it, he probably could have caught it because it didn't hit very high on the wall. But it just took a funky bounce off the wall. If he goes directly to it, he probably can catch it. But then it hits the wall and kicks sideways. And with Buck's speed, he's scoring easy.
And Terang ends up at second. It's a 7-1 United States lead. Back to the top of the order for Witt, who's up for the fourth time and already has seen his 20th pitch against Brazilian pitching so far. And he's seen multiple pitchers.
And the USA finally cashed in the walks.
Yep. Been a long inning. Schwarber grounded out on that great Rojo play. Bregman walked. Raleigh walked. Pitching change. Anthony walked. Buxton was hit by a pitch to drive one in, and that double by Terang has made it 7-1, clearing the bags. And now it's 3-0 on Bobby Witt Jr.
I think De Silva's sitting inside right now going, guys, just throw a little slower.
What's up with all this velocity? Let's go back to the off speed, the off speed. And a 4-pitch walk, another one issued by Brazilian pitching. 4 in this inning plus the hit batter.
There's nothing you can do. There's just nothing you can do as the manager when you have all these walks. If they hit it, they hit it. But at least make them hit it. If you just keep putting guys on base, this team is too good. Someone's eventually going to make you pay, and Bryce Terang was the first one.
Walk, 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 hit by pitch. Then you had Terang and then another walk. It's just, he's got to come in the zone, right, AJ?
At some point, you got to face the music.
Harper swings away, pop up on the infield. The shortstop Ito is able to make the grab. There are 2 down. Harper 0 for 3 with a walk. And now Aaron Judge will get another at bat with multiple runners on base. "33 years of age from California. First World Baseball Classic appearance for Aaron Judge. Runners take off. Judge will take the pitch, and now 2 in scoring position. Mike Trout was the captain a couple of years ago. in 2023 for the United States. You see the Patriots making their way down.
Benjamin Franklin in attendance.
Not a president, just to clarify that. Mike Trout gave Mark DeRosa his blessing when he said he wanted to have Aaron Judge as the captain. He said he's the one. He's had a home run already today. This sky-high pop-up will be caught by the second baseman Roggio. And the United States finally cashes in with all of the walks. Terang clears the bags, going the other way again. 4 runs in the frame and a 7-1 U.S. lead halfway through.
Welcome back to Daikin Park. We're here with USA starting pitcher Logan Webb. Logan, you've made 177 career starts as a San Francisco Giant. This was your first one for Team USA. How would you describe the experience?
What was the last part?
How would you describe the experience?
Oh, it was amazing. Just being out here, walking out, listening to the national anthem, special.
How different is it pitching in a game of this magnitude on March 6th?
It felt pretty normal. It felt like a normal like game. I felt really good. Obviously, there's a ton of adrenaline. I was extremely excited, but I felt great. So I don't know.
What were the emotions, Logan, just putting on this uniform today?
Oh, it's an honor. It's special. Everyone that I play for. I got my family in the stands with me today. It's something you dream of.
Final question. At one point, the opposing pitcher was 17 years old, Joseph Contreras.
Yeah.
Logan, what were you doing at 17?
I was in high school, actually, which I think he's in high school as well, I believe. So yeah, it was, that's awesome. I didn't know, but that's cool.
Logan, thanks a lot. Congratulations. Adam, back to you.
Thanks so much, Ken. Michael Wacha is into the game. He strikes out Vitor Ito to begin his day. Kansas City Royal last year, of course, jumped in as a very young pitcher like Contreras did today. Straight out of college, Michael Wacha was pitching in the postseason for the St. Louis Cardinals, a former teammate of yours, Wayno.
Yeah, and not just pitching the postseason, absolutely dominating in the postseason. 2013, almost threw a couple of no-hitters, won a World Series game. This is a guy who loves the big game, and I'll tell you how much he's evolved as a pitcher. When he first came up, he was throwing fastball, changeup almost exclusively, would throw a very rinky-dink curveball in. He went down to the minor leagues, got better at it. And then all of a sudden now I'm looking at his repertoire. He's throwing four seams, he's throwing changeups, he's throwing cutters, he's throwing sinkers, he's throwing sliders and curveballs. I'm like, who is this guy?
That changeup has been one of his best pitches. Opponents hit just 170 against it last year when he was pitching for Kansas City. 2013 NLCS MVP. There is a defensive change as well. Mark DeRosa does take Byron Buxton out after he was hit by a pitch in that last inning. And a half-hearted swing and miss for a strikeout. Back-to-back Ks to start off this frame. Pete Crow Armstrong has checked in for Buxton in center.
There it is. There's a breaking ball for you, Wayno.
That's a good tight one too, man. It's you can tell by the hitter's reaction that came out looking just like a fastball and just dropped right off the table. Now his changeup though is the most unique pitch in all of baseball. I think it is super weird. Even just playing catch with it. It's spin. He throws it like he holds it a four-seam grip, and he throws it. It comes out two-seam, but it's like a corkscrewy, weird thing that goes on with that ball. It almost defies gravity.
Well, he is rolling through here in this fifth inning. There's PCA out in center. Just 9 pitches, and it's quickly 0-2 on Victor Mascai, the Brazilian left fielder. He uses a timeout. Again, that's another thing that the Brazilian hitters are getting used to, using the timeout when they know that pitch clock is winding down.
Look at the shoes, too. Repping the red, white, and blue on the shoes.
Very sharp.
95.
He's got it, man. And you see the plane. He's got such a unique arm angle. It's not as over the top as it used to be, but it's still, when he throws it down, it has such extreme drop to it.
And he can team it up with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball with that change. Really good stuff from Wacha, who strikes out the side in the 5th. Off to the 6th we go in this pool play opener for the U.S. Stage is set for a weekend where IndyCar and NASCAR go back-to-back on one track. IndyCar tomorrow, NASCAR on Sunday from Phoenix Raceway. It's the Desert Double on Fox and on FS1. It'll be the 6th Brazilian pitcher of their opening game today. Joao Gabriel Marastica, just 21 years of age, making his WBC debut.
I have a question. Why is Brazil not using the pitch comp? They're actually using signs. They might be the only team in any baseball level, professional or college, not using some sort of...
They don't have any pitchers that have any history with it.
Yeah, actually, we had a couple of guys ask Yuichi Matsumoto about that earlier today. Just what is the thought process behind it? This is what most of these guys have come up knowing. Again, we're seeing all the adjustments that you have to make, right? Guys, like pitch clock is new to so many of these international players. Having to get back into the box at a certain time, we've seen that affect them. The ground rules at a ballpark that most of these guys have never seen before, perhaps not even on television in their lives. It's all these little mini adjustments that we don't always think about that a lot of these players are making, along with the pressure of playing for their country on the biggest international stage.
You know, one of the best deals this offseason was the Phillies signing Kyle Schwarber back. You want to talk about a glue guy, AJ? This guy is a clubhouse builder, man. One of the best glue guys I've ever played with, and I only played with him for a month, and I was so impressed with just his presence in the clubhouse and at bat. Total pro, huge in big moments, but just a stud in the clubhouse.
There's a couple other teams that were in on him too. The Reds, Pittsburgh was somewhat in on him. Didn't it always feel like he was going to go back to Philadelphia?
Ended up re-signing 5 years, $150 million deal. In fact, he signed it the same day that he announced he was going to play for Team USA in the WBC. This is his second WBC in a row. Schwarber had a couple of home runs in the last tournament, including that massive one against Japan in that thrilling finale. Draws a walk to start this inning.
You know what makes you a great glue guy too? 50+ homers every
Absolutely.
year.
Yeah, sure does.
56 of them last year, second only to Cal Raleigh. He's been on base 3 of the 4 times he's come up, and now Alex Bregman to the plate. He's walked twice and scored a run.
We keep talking about it, but you can't keep falling behind these guys. These guys don't chase on the USA team. And if you're Brazil, was it 10 walks now and a hit by pitch? You just can't keep doing this. You're just going to get in trouble so much with this lineup.
Just about everybody has reached base. In fact, everybody has. With a couple of walks, Harper, Judge, and now Marastica feeling some discomfort. Yuichi Matsumoto is coming out to check on him. He's fallen behind all these hitters. A lot of 3-0 counts in this game.
What do you think he said to him, Waino? That was the quickest mound meeting I've ever seen.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we don't even know if they speak the same. What? Do they speak the same language?
Both of them speak Portuguese.
Yeah, Portuguese. That's right.
Do you think Matsumoto ran out there and said, "I need some steps," and I'm going back?
I think he said he needs some strikes more than anything else. And he doesn't get one there. It's another walk. 11 walks drawn by the United States, including back-to-back to start this 6th inning.
6 of them after 3-0 counts, too. Just non-competitive.
That'll bring up Cal Raleigh. Ken Rosenthal is down to the field.
Adam, classic Cal Raleigh story from Tuesday's exhibition against the San Francisco Giants. Mark DeRosa wanted to remove him at various points in the game, but Raleigh insisted on remaining in so he could catch as many pitchers as possible. Winds up playing 9 innings, making 6 plate appearances, catching 6 different pitchers. DeRosa said, "Hey, Cal, the Mariners are going to kill me." But the next day, Raleigh was back at it, catching bullpens, trying to familiarize himself with as many pitchers as he could.
One of the most durable players in all of baseball at its toughest position in terms of durability. 159 games played last year, plus he caught every inning of the postseason in Seattle's magical run to a 7-game loss in the ALCS to Toronto.
As I said, I've talked about this before. The year he had, the games he played at the position.
Runners go. Raleigh swings, skies it out towards center. For Maciel, the runners will have to head back. There's the first out, A.J.
Aaron Judge, very deserving of the MVP. But if Cal Raleigh didn't win the MVP with what he did last year, how do you get it away from Aaron Judge? What can someone do? Hit 70 homers? That's like the only thing you can do to get it out of Judge's hands. Not that Judge wasn't deserving.
It was a great race and a lot of great discussions that all three of us had with other people. Plenty of discussions from around Major League Baseball and understandable and passionate cases for both Judge and Raleigh last year. Now teammates for Team USA, which has a 6-run lead, and here's Roman Anthony swinging away and fouling it off.
That postseason last year was one of my favorite postseasons of any postseason baseball year I've ever seen. I mean, there was just so many incredible games, extra inning games left and right. And Cal caught every inning of them. Amazing.
Well, I think that speaks to why there was so much buzz going around this week in the ramp up to the WBC this year. There's a few reasons, I think, and I think that was one of them. Anthony surges one out towards center field. This is playable for Maciel, and again, both runners will have to head back to the bags. There are 2 away in the 6th. I asked you guys the same question just when we were chatting about this in the lead up to the tournament. You know, why did I, as a non-player, as a fan of the game, as an observer of it, feel a bigger buzz about this tournament than maybe I ever have? And you guys had a couple of things. I had a feeling. I think the playoffs last year was as thrilling as they were. We got to call a 15-inning playoff game. We saw an 18-inning World Series game. We saw a 7-game series in the World Series that was absolutely thrilling, as Pete Crow Armstrong will climb in for the first time. Swing away at the first pitch, grounded to first, and that'll retire the side. The momentum that has built up to this tournament, in particular for Team USA, has been awesome in the lead up. To the bottom of the 6th we go, a 7-1 U.S. lead. Opening game of pool play, and our game summary is brought to you by Capital One. Logan Webb got the start. Aaron Judge started off the United States with a 2-run homer. What a moment for Lucas Ramirez, a solo shot to begin the night for Brazil, but since then 15 straight retired by United States pitching. Terang busted it open with that 3-run double in the 5th, taking advantage of all the walks issued by Brazilian pitching. And a 7-1 lead to the bottom half of the 6th. U.S. will take on Great Britain. You'll see that tomorrow on Fox. Then a tougher assignment against Mexico coming up on Monday, and then Italy on Tuesday.
Mexico beat USA 2023?
No, not 23.
2019.
17? Is that what you're thinking of?
Might have been 23, actually, now that I think about it.
Because Brady Singer, unfortunately, that was the game Brady Singer had to come in and pitch a lot of pitches.
Manager is Benji Gill for Team Mexico.
Man, as sharp as we saw Logan Webb, super sharp, right? Like, it's got better as he went. The best inning we've seen pitched today was Michael Walker's last inning.
Yep. 1, 2, 3 with 3 strikeouts.
In what, 10 or 11 pitches?
Yep. So Carmu will flip it into shallow center. That's going to fall in front of PCA and beyond Terang. So that ends the streak. Gabriel Carmu is able to get the 2nd hit of the night for Brazil. It leads off the 6th inning after 15 straight Brazilians retired by the U.S. pitching staff. A.J., just to wrap it, you were thinking of the pool play game 11-5. Mexico beat the U.S. at Chase Field.
That was 2023, correct?
Yeah,
yes. You should remember that, Wayno. You probably started it. What an inning?
Remember the wins, forget the losses. Remember what you want from the losses, then move on.
True. Great advice. Why do the losses stick with you longer than the wins?
They sure do.
There's Maciel. Waves and misses nothing at 2 on that change from Waka. Yep, you love that change, Wayno.
That thing, if you could slow-mo that, you would see that it was just corkscrewing and it just drops right off the table.
Down he goes. There's the changeup. 5 batters faced, 4 strikeouts for Michael Waka, 1 away in the 6th. Those are the teams in Pool B. Here's Lucas Ramirez. And the 20-year-old will take a strike. Our statistician is Ed Svita. He passed me a note that he does not like because it compliments A.J. Manny Ramirez had 1 home run as a White Sox legend. Lucas Ramirez, a broken bat flare towards short. It is caught by Witt and caught off the bag at first. That would have been a double play, but Carmu sees the first baseman Harper lose out on the ball, and he'll head to second safely. Should have been a double play as Carmu was caught off guard. They'll quickly check at first base to see if Carmu missed the bag. He did not. He's ruled safe.
I'm just trying to figure out what he was doing.
Yeah.
And that went off of Carmu and ricocheted away. He had to avoid the helicoptering bat as well. Very odd play off the bat of Ramirez.
Bobby just told him, my bad, dude. Didn't mean to hit you right in the middle of the back.
It is an error on Witt that advances Carmu into scoring position. And now 2 down for Carvalho. And fouls it away.
See, maybe he knew what he was doing. He got right in the way so that he could get to second into scoring position.
The tactical nature of the game, Age.
He was thinking 3 steps ahead.
See, that's what happens when you had 118 homers in a White Sox uniform and Ramirez and Griffey only combined for 4. That's what happens. And there for a strike on that changeup. Looked like it was going to float high, and it just dropped down at the last moment. Nice framing by Raleigh.
That's one of the hardest pitches to hit. I was as a left-handed hitter. Fernando Rodney used to do that. He used to throw me inside changeups. I could never swing at them because they looked like such a ball out of the hand.
Goes right back to it. Doubled up a few times in that inning on that nasty change that opponents only hit 172 against last season. To the late innings we go in the openers. 7-1 USA. 11 walks issued by Brazilian pitching. Giving up 7 runs on just 6 hits. U.S. have also left 10 men on base so far. 9-hitter is Charang, who has cashed in a couple of doubles, including one in the 5th, to bring home 3 runs, all of whom had reached base via those walks.
Effectively wild. They're saying, we're just going to walk you until you load the bases, then we're going to get you out, except for the time Price hit.
And that fly ball out to left that had Mascai twisted and turned around.
And most people wouldn't do it that way, AJ.
It's usually not a very good strategy.
This is the 2nd inning of work for Joao Gabriel Marastica. Walked the first 2 men he faced in the 6th and then left them stranded. Bouncing ball to the right side for Carvalho. Nice easy play for the first out of the 7th. Game used jerseys, baseballs, bases, and more are now live on auction for the 2026 World Baseball Classic. New auctions are added after each game, and you can own a piece of WBC history. MLB.com/WBC auction. Jerseys of all teams, a lot of United States paraphernalia in the crowd, as expected here in Houston. Top of the order, and Bobby Witt Jr. up for the 5th time. And a nasty breaking ball for Marastica for a strike.
Wait until you see this place on Monday. Is that when USA plays Mexico?
Yep.
This place is going to be going bonkers.
Yep. It was awesome to walk around as we got into town here in Houston. Obviously, a heavy Hispanic population. A lot of Mexico fans are here. A lot of fans from all of the Latin American countries. We've seen a lot of people come over from Asia, fans of Chinese Taipei and Japan and Korea, to watch games that don't involve their teams. Bobby Witt puts a charge into one, out towards Ramirez along the warning track and right for the second out. And it's just one of the joys of this tournament, this international stage.
I saw fans this morning. Mexico played earlier today.
They played Great Britain, yeah.
And there was a ton of Mexico fans. I saw 2 Great Britain fans, and I wanted to go. It was a father and a son, and I just wanted to go up to them and say, they had jerseys on, both Great Britain jerseys. Where'd you get the jerseys? Who's your favorite player? Because there were blanks on the back. But it was cool to see. They're walking around. There's all Mexico fans, and then there was these 2 Great Britain fans.
And it's cool, again, just the fact that teams like Brazil, which have not been in the World Baseball Classic in over a decade, are here. Great Britain has had more Major League representation this year. Harry Ford's the captain. They've got Jazz Chisholm of Bahamian descent playing for Great Britain. Trace Thompson, same deal. Like, it's just so cool to see the amount of talent that is so widely distributed amongst all these countries that are at this level. 0-2 on Harper, looking for his first hit of the night. Judge on deck if he reaches. 30,825 here at Daikin Park for this Pool B opener. And it goes back to what we were talking about a couple of innings ago. The wonderful postseason to close out 2025. The thrilling finish in 2023 between the U.S. and Japan. The dream team-like nature of this roster. An incredible buzz around this tournament. 2-2 on Harper.
It also doesn't hurt for the excitement of this tournament. USA hasn't won in a long time. 2017. And Japan has 3 championships. The U.S. has 1. U.S. likes to win.
He'd catch up a little.
Out towards left. And Maskai. 10-pitch inning worked by Marastica. Beautiful night in Houston, Texas. 7-1 U.S. stretch time. Welcome back to the 2026 World Baseball Classic on Fox, presented by Capital One. To the bottom of the 7th we go. 7-1 United States has the lead. Again, Pete Crow Armstrong, the only substitution in this game on either side outside of the pitching staffs. He took over for Byron Buxton, who was hit by a pitch earlier in this game. Ken Rosenthal is down on the field with an update.
Adam, Buxton is fine. They just removed him for precautionary reasons and also because they wanted to get Pete Crow Armstrong some at-bats. But Buxton, absolutely okay.
That's great news to hear. And one of the quandaries that Mark DeRosa has, along with one of the luxuries that he has with this stacked roster. You can have so many difficult decisions to make on who you want in the lineup. And then if one of those guys happens to get hurt or you want to be cautious, guess what? PCA is just sitting on the bench getting ready to go. There is a base hit for Leonardo Reginato. That is a meaningful one for the 35-year-old captain of this Brazilian team. A man who had the first ever RBI in Brazilian WBC history 13 years ago. 13 years later, as the captain, he has a base hit tonight against the U.S. He's aboard for Dante Bichette Jr., who has fanned twice.
I don't know how he hits with all that stuff hanging off. I mean, the hair, the chain, Wayno.
Might be a reflecting.
It's got a lot of things happening there.
Well, there's a lot of colors. There's a lot of shiny accoutrement to the jersey and to the paraphernalia that Bichette has. And he strokes one out towards PCA in center. He's got it for out number 1. Back to first goes Reginato.
Joseph Contreras, who obviously pitched in this game. His dad, Jose, when he pitched for the White Sox, he would wear multiple chains, and every pitch he would throw, you could hear him like clanging.
Yep.
And so maybe that's what Bichette he learned from Jose Contreras.
It's possible.
I don't know. I don't know.
White Sox legend.
Another one, Rienzo, they're pitching. I mean, there's a lot.
One of many. Here's Vitor Ito.
That might be the first pitch we've seen Michael come out of sorts a little bit. The first 2 innings, 21 pitches, 19 strikes. He's been incredibly sharp.
Apparently one person does not agree with all the White Sox legends in the building tonight.
He clearly doesn't know how many are here.
Or he just knows you're here, I think.
I mean, all I can say is I never lost a World Series game on this field.
Ooh.
You guys celebrated the 20-year anniversary last year. "23 strikes out of the 27 pitches Michael Wacha has tossed so far. Ito waves and misses. Another strike. It's 2-2, but that gets away. And Reginato will move on to second base.
I mean, the break on that, it's almost like a lefty curveball. It's not even a slider. That's just the funkiest pitch.
Wacha spent the first 7 years with the Cardinals, been with the Mets, the Rays, the Red Sox, the Padres, lately with the Royals.
They gave that pitch that got by Raleigh a wild pitch. I don't think it bounced, but one of the craziest stats, Cal Raleigh had 0 pass balls last year. Until he had one in the postseason.
Yeah. What was it, like 1,100 innings or something like that? Almost 1,300 innings last year without a pass ball against him. Here's a little tapper in front of Raleigh, right on cue. And Harper digs it out at first base. Excellent play on the hop.
What a pick.
Bryce Harper has turned himself into an absolute stud at first base with some of these picks. Raleigh slips a little bit on the ball. First of all, I love the aggressiveness. Watch his back foot right there. See it slip a little bit? And Harper picks him up nicely.
Platinum Glove winner a couple of years ago, Cal Raleigh. Certainly could have made a case to win it last year as well. But a great play by Harper at first base. Had to make that transition after the UCL surgery a few years ago. Said he's been willing to go into the outfield if need be for the Phillies. If the opportunity were to come to perhaps sign another first baseman or something like that. But he has really become a solid first baseman over the last 2 years.
Cal coming out here calling this right now saying I needed a break.
And he's thanking Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Saved it out for him over there with that great pick.
See, that's the most intelligent position on the field. Also going out there to help out the most unathletic position, the pitcher. Because Wacha had to run 40 feet, so he was so tired that the catcher then had to run 60 feet, and another 60, so 120 feet, so the pitcher could catch his breath.
Guys, it's March 6th, and AJ's already in September form. Here is Rojo, who's made a nice defensive play in this game. Chop busting A.J. Pierzynski.
See, Waino had no response. So
all pitchers are athletes. Adam Wainwright.
I mean, I said for crying out loud. I mean, you know, it's all it required.
I'm merely Adam Amin. Ken Rosenthal down on the field. Our fantastic Fox Sports crew in the opener of this pool play for the United States. Ball and a strike on Rojo, who strokes one out towards center field. That'll get down for a base hit. Reginato's going to get the wave home, and he will score. And a meaningful run for the captain, and Brazil gets a run back here in the 7th, an RBI from Lucas Rojo.
They should be happier. I feel like those Brazil fans should be happier than what they're at. This game could be really, really ugly. They're still, I'm not saying they're in the game, but This isn't what I think a lot of people thought was going to happen.
Sure. Combination of the lack of experience for Brazil and the pressure on the United States because of its star-studded roster. Reading up on Brazilian baseball, where it stands right now. Obviously, soccer is the main sport, the national sport, but the passion for baseball has grown over the years. There is this phrase that I remember hearing during Brazil's World Cup dominance, Jogo Bonito, means the beautiful game. And that phrase has started to translate into baseball. Part of that is the passion and the flair that Brazil and its fellow Latin American countries, South American and Central American countries play with. There's that flair for joy and passion, and that has combined over the last century with the tactical and disciplined nature of Japanese baseball. They know they're not going to be the most powerful team, but they use their speed, they use their smarts, they use small ball, and we heard Yuichi Matsumoto, through his translator, use the word grind to talk about what this team is like. So if you didn't really have a sense for it, this is meant to be a grinded out type of team in Brazil. In the air, well struck to left. Some power here from Maskai. Anthony's going to have to turn around, and a home run, the second of the game for Brazil. And how about now, AJ? They're right back in this in the 7th inning. There's the joy.
There you go. And Michael Walker looks completely dominant the first 2 innings out there. And this inning, Brazil has figured him out a little bit for 3 runs. And Brazil's right back in this game.
The former Houston Astro minor leaguer comes to Houston's ballpark and cracks a 2-run shot, part of a 3-run 7th inning for the Brazilians. A line out from Carmu, and that will retire the side. But the 25-year-old from Marília, which is becoming a Brazilian baseball hotbed, Victor Maskai, the home run. It's 7-4. Some stunned United States fans after seeing Brazil put up 3 in that last frame. MLB Plus is new for 2026. Stream MLB Network 24/7 in the U.S. and select out-of-market games every week, plus live radio broadcasts of every game. Game Day 3D, big inning, and minor league action too. MLB.com/MLB Plus to subscribe today. Judge got it going with a 2-run home run in the first. Brazil got a Lucas Ramirez home run in the bottom of the frame. A run scored on a wild pitch in the third for the U.S. A bunch of walks leading to a Bryce Terang 3-run double in the 5th and a 4-run 5th inning. Made it 7-1 until 3 in the bottom of the 7th for Brazil, including the 2-run home run from the left fielder Victor Maskai to make it a 7-4 game to the 8th. It is Judge, Schwarber, and Bregman due up against Marastica, who's into his 3rd inning of relief.
If things don't change, you could have won a lot of money if you would have said Brazil would out-homer USA, because they were supposed to be the small ball team. Right now, it's 2 homers Brazil, 1 homer USA.
Judge has the lone bomb so far. 3-0 on Judge. Four-pitch walk to Aaron Judge to begin this top half of the 8th inning. That'll bring up Schwarber. Another walk issued. 12 of them from the Brazilian pitching staff. Schwarber's got 1 of them. Gabe Spire, the left-hander, out there with David Ross, the bullpen coach. Have some lefties due up in the bottom of the 8th for Brazil, so Spire preparing. It's fascinating to watch this effort from this Brazilian team. And I think it's very easy to over-magnify one game for the United States. But it has been quite the effort from Brazil to stay in it. Six straight out of the zone to start this inning from Aristica. It's flipped towards center field. Maciel and Muskai there. It'll be the left fielder Muskai, feeling confident after that home run shot, calling off his center fielder for the out. Here's Bregman. We talked to Mark DeRosa before the game. He mentioned obviously Aaron Judge, and he used the same comment to Ken Rosenthal, a leader of men. Alex Bregman is the tactical brain seemingly for this group. He was the guy that in the lead up to the tournament was already on his phone in the group text with all the other hitters on Team USA, sending out video of pitchers they may get a chance to see over the next week in pool play. Guys that maybe don't have as much video on them. This guy was scouring the internet for videos to be able to send to the group chat and get prepared. Already pointing out little tendencies and little ticks and maybe little giveaways that pitchers may show to try to get every little advantage. And over the last 11 years since I first saw him at LSU as a superstar college player, eventually going number 2 in the Major League Baseball draft in 2015, he has been that type of baseball junkie. Hailing from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
You mentioned that he wears number 2 because he was a second pick. Now he's playing with the guy who was drafted in front of him, Dansby Swanson. He said, "Oh, I wear 2 because I didn't go 1."
Yep.
So now him and Dansby on the Cubs can talk a little trash back and forth to each other.
Left side of the infield.
I don't know the Cubs retired numbers, but could change his number to 1 and just rub that in.
Ooh, well, he'll wear that one right on that number 2 on the back of his jersey. And plenty of Astros fans here in Houston who appreciated Bregman's fine work over his career in Houston. Didn't appreciate that, but he'll take first base on another hit batsman, and Judge moves on to second.
Just gets away right in the hip. I don't think that hurts so much as just why.
Well, Maristico's had some control problems in this inning, to say the least. And it will be a pitching change. That'll do it for Maristica. He'll battle through 2+ in relief. 36-year-old Ugo Kanabushi will check in for his second World Baseball Classic. See his numbers from about a decade ago when he was playing at the highest level of Japanese baseball. Born and raised in Brazil, but moved to Japan as a high schooler to play in baseball, and eventually worked his way up to Nippon Professional. Pitching for Yomiuri. Cal Raleigh has walked twice and scored.
You mentioned Bregman and all the scouting reports and looking for little things. There was not a lot of scouting reports on some of these guys.
Sure.
Kanabushi hasn't pitched professionally in 10 years. What's the scouting report on him? He's left-handed?
Only pitched in a couple of games in Japan. He's dealt with Tommy John surgery a couple of times. Raleigh turning around to bat right-handed here against the lefty Kanabushi, who has a full-time job as well. He's actually now the interpreter for the team he once pitched for in Yomiuri.
Cal Raleigh batting 6th.
That's because he hit 60 homers last year. They wanted to.
Batting 6th. I just like, wow.
And can you imagine just being one of the members of like the Colorado Rockies AA group coming into spring training and facing this group in an exhibition game the other day? And being like, oh, so maybe in a spring training game you might see 1 or 2 at bats from the big boppers. No, you're going to go through an entire game and face the stacked Team USA lineup. Beat Salvador Perez's catcher home run mark, the switch hitter mark, held by Mickey Mantle, and Ken Griffey Jr.'s Mariner home run record broken by Raleigh last year. And of course, Griffey in the building today.
And so many of those seemed like they were in the biggest spots when the team needed them the most. I mean, every time I turned on, the bottom line said Cal Raleigh home run, 2 for 3, 4 RBI. Like, it seemed like it was every day.
Well, he helped clinch the division with his 59th and 60th homers last year. First division title in almost a quarter century for the Mariners. Scott out to right. Ramirez has it. Runners stay, and there are 2 down in the 8th. Ugo Kanabushi with a couple of outs. 7 runs on just 6 hits. The walks have been aplenty, but the U.S. has left double-digit men on base and has not been able to get more than 2 hits with a runner in scoring position. One of those was the Terang double. Roman Anthony will take a curve inside.
And each one of these innings, each one of these at-bats may help this team later in the tournament. You know, the more at-bats they see, like Mark DeRosa said earlier, they just haven't had many at-bats coming into this. So it's not going to hurt them to play a little extra ball here.
Sure.
See a few more pitches, even if they're from interpreters.
A lot of these guys just getting going in the spring right now and had a very short stint at camp before coming to the United States camp to get ready for this tournament.
That little hand guard, AJ, is something I feel like every hitter should use one of those on their top hand. Would that bother you? On their bottom hand, sorry.
Anthony, a ground ball through the right side, a base hit. Judge on his way home. He will score. And it's 8-4 United States. Into third base goes Bregman. And Roman Anthony, the United States' youngest player, drives in a run to extend the U.S. lead.
No, the answer is no. They're so loose and they're so flexible now, Waino. And I agree. Most hitters wear elbow guards, shin guards, and hand guards, and the C-flap face guard. So they have all the armor, but that's just a nice job by Roman Anthony. He just goes down and gets that ball, drives in the 8th run for USA, and again, they just haven't cashed in all the walks enough.
This time the leadoff walk does come around to score and Judge. Bregman to third. Runners at the corners for PCA's second trip to the plate after coming in for Buxton.
And the first baseman forgot to hold the runner on first. That was the delay. That's why the pitcher had to step off.
A fabulous start to last year for PCA. Slowed down a little bit in the second half. Guy who's been part of the Team USA program for a long time, going back to his youth days. Won a couple of medals, a couple of championships with Team USA. He actually approached Mark DeRosa at the home run derby at the All-Star game in Atlanta and said, if you need me, I will play for my country. It was a pretty easy selection for DeRosa. Obviously, the power and speed combination that the Cubs haven't seen since Sammy Sosa 3 decades ago. Put together a 30-30 campaign last year. Obviously, the glove is elite in center. 2-1 pitch. Lays off a change.
I think he will be helped by Alex Bregman on his team, probably more than anybody. Just teaching him, because one thing about PCA is he swings out a lot of balls that are out of the strike zone. Alex Bregman will talk to him day in and day out about trying to get into the zone, how much better he can be.
Bouncing ball to the right side, grabbed by Carvalho, and that will retire the side. The U.S. add a run on the Anthony RBI. It's 8-4 to the bottom of the 8th inning. IndyCar, NASCAR back-to-back desert double coming up this weekend. You'll have IndyCar on Fox at 3 Eastern tomorrow, and then NASCAR on Sunday at 3 Eastern on FS1, both on the same track at Phoenix Raceway.
Can MJ do it again?
He's the winner. Getting a couple of victories the last few weekends in NASCAR, Michael Jordan's group. That's 3 weekends in a row.
He's going to be there in Arizona.
That's right.
He's expecting another victory.
Gabe Speier, the left-hander from the Seattle Mariners, brings one of the great fastball slider combinations in all of Major League Baseball, in particular that slider that gets swings and misses on about half the pitches thrown. It'll be 9-1-2, a couple of lefties after the switch hitting Maciel. The 9 hitter is up, and then Ramirez and Carvalho, the 2 left-handers at the top. Speier making his WBC debut, going into his 8th year in Major League Baseball, split between KC and Seattle. There's a strike on that fastball at 93. Originally drafted in 2013 by the Boston Red Sox, part of a couple of high-profile trades. One for Yoenis Cespedes and Rick Porcello, the other the Dansby Swanson, Shelby Miller deal. Here he is at age 30 now, the California native pitching for the United States. Maciel has struck out twice tonight. He has struck out 3 times. 1 away in the 8th.
This dude is just so good, Gabe Speier. We saw with the Mariners last year, the year he had. His fastball slider combination is great for lefties and righties.
With the face that Maciel had after the foul ball and the slider coming into him, he looked out there like, oh man, now I got to look for that, and then that just opened up the fastball at the top.
It's a pretty good combo and good sequence that Speier possesses to put up the type of numbers he did last year. 12 strikeouts per 9 last season for Speier out of the bullpen. Ramirez takes a strike. 12 strikeouts now for United States pitching, including 1 against Ramirez all the way back in the 3rd against Logan Webb, who pitched the first 4 innings today for the U.S. Ramirez skies one down the right field line, looking for that ball at the wall, and it suddenly appears and lands for a second Lucas Ramirez home run. What a debut for his mother's country. Lucas Ramirez, a 2-homer debut for Team Brazil. He said he doesn't feel pressure. He looks like a guy that has not felt any pressure today.
4-seamer misses up and in, and he knew it right away. He's just thinking, if that thing stays fair, I got a 2-homer game in the WBC against USA.
I think the only concern was whether it was going to go off the railing on the roof of this place as he skied it again.
Goodness, look at the launch angle there.
Got underneath. Carvalho strikes out 2 down. Between 17-year-old Joseph Contreras, the son of Jose, and 20-year-old Lucas Ramirez, the son of Manny. Incredible positions to be thrown into against the U.S. and incredible moments to put together at such young ages.
But for a guy who only has 3 home runs in his minor league career to hit 2?
Against these pitchers, impressive. Reginato's at the plate. Ken Rosenthal is down to the field.
Guys, some of the Brazil people were saying before the game that it would be something of a triumph simply to play 9 innings. And you might ask, well, why? That's kind of a modest goal for baseball games. But in the early rounds of the WBC, there is a mercy rule. If a team leads by 15 runs after the 5th inning, game is called. If the lead is 10 runs after the 7th inning, the game is called. Well, Brazil is going to get all 9, it certainly appears. And that, for them, is something of an accomplishment.
They said it would be cause for celebration to compete against these great teams. It would be a party in the streets of Sao Paulo and Rio if they were to win a game for the first time at the WBC.
Well, if they beat the USA.
Well, that would be a party the likes that Carnival perhaps hasn't seen. 1-2 pitch to the captain. Reginato flares one to Witt. He makes the play. Regardless of the result tonight, Lucas Ramirez has already made a name for himself on one of the grandest international stages in this sport. A second homer. San Juan, Tokyo, Miami, and Houston, Texas, where we are tonight to open up Pool B. The 4 sites for pool play in the World Baseball Classic, presented by Capital One on Fox. Here at Daikin Park, the home of the Houston Astros, and the home to a Brazilian team that has hit 3 home runs tonight to stay in the game against the powerful United States team in its opener. The U.S. has the 8-5 lead to the final frame in regulation. Lucas Ramirez has 2 of those 3 home runs for Brazil tonight.
Well, if you're USA, you wouldn't mind a run or 2 insurance here.
Well, that's a good way to start it. Terang with his 3rd hit of the game for the U.S. out of the 9 spot. And he leads off the night against Ugo Kanabushi with a single. Back to the top. Matsumoto is out there to make a change. So the Brazilian bullpen, which has been busy all night, will turn to its 7th reliever of this game. Kanabushi is done. We've seen it all, right? We've seen a 17-year-old who's playing in high school. We've seen a 40-year-old veteran. We've seen construction workers. We've seen the sons of major leaguers. And now we see a college kid. Tomas Lopez, whose mother was born and raised in Brazil, is currently in the middle of his early season with Columbia University. He comes into a game with Bryce Terang at first base, and he lifts the bag as Carmu sees a man steal a base against him. And into scoring position goes Terang with Bobby Witt Jr. at the plate facing Tomas Lopez.
Well, he had no chance right there. Terang, he went right away, and yeah, pitchers, they just give their catcher no chance, and they look at the catcher and wonder, well, I can't throw the guy out. He's going to get 3rd here in a second, too. Watch.
And keep an eye out for it as Lopez deals a curve outside.
I think you're probably on first base there if you're Bryce Terang. I mean, they probably sure they have video on all these guys already, but he saw the closed tip. He saw the high leg kick. It's like 1-5, 1-6 to home plate.
Lopez deals upstairs, 21 years of age, at 6'3". He said it would be just crazy to see a professional hitter in the batter's box. Well, he's looking at one of the great hitters in baseball, the guy who led Major League Baseball in hits last year, in Bobby Witt Jr. The other part he said would be kind of cool is maybe after the game I could get a few pictures with Paul Skeens and Aaron Judge. That's what's fascinating about these guys who are stepping in. Again, we've seen 17-year-olds, we've seen construction workers, and now seen a kid who has spent probably the last 10 years of his life closely watching some of the players and pitchers that his team is playing against internationally right now. 2-2 from Lopez to Witt. Check swing, no swing, 3-2. Lopez went to high school in Redondo Beach at Redondo Union. Of course, longtime Houston Astro Morgan Ensberg. That was his alma mater as well, as we play on here at Daikin Park. 3-2 pitch. Witt pops it up, foul. Columbia has churned out many a great major league pitcher, a major league player. Of course, Lou Gehrig, Columbia University alum, Sandy Koufax, Gene Larkin, famously hit the walk-off in Game 7 of the '91 World Series for the Twins. Handful of Hall of Famers.
Sorry, Smoltzy.
He's watching tonight, preparing for this tournament. That's going to be a memory for Lopez to carry for the rest of his days. A strikeout of Bobby Witt Jr. here in the 9th inning, 1 away.
Looking at his numbers, though, in college, he's 17 strikeouts and 12 innings. I mean, he's clearly got good stuff. Bobby just, he couldn't press the pause button right there. You can tell he didn't want to swing at that.
That's the slider that doesn't slide. That's the one we talked about earlier. It doesn't do anything. That's the best pitch in baseball, the old backup slider. You can't do it anytime you want it, but sometimes it just messes up a hitter. He's expecting that ball to break, and it doesn't break. You swing under it.
Well, maybe Lopez will face a guy whose photo he wants after the game. Judge is on deck.
Judge just handed the ball to Griffey, by the way.
That's cool. Harper rips one into right field. That's a base hit. And easily coming around Terang, he will score. And that pushes an extra run across for the U.S. to make it a 4-run lead in the 9th. And Harper's first hit.
That's what they wanted right there. Get a little insurance.
And get a little good feeling, right?
Yeah.
These late innings.
Sure.
Feel the contact, feel the bat on the ball, get back into a little bit of a flow. And an RBI for Harper makes it 9-5 and sets it up for Judge to face Lopez.
And this is the top of the order 6 plate appearance. So you're getting at bats. These are all just more at bats that get sharper and sharper.
Judge will take high. The U.S. has scored in 5 different innings. 2 in the first on the Judge homer, 1 in the 3rd, 4 in the 5th, 1 in the 8th, and 1 in the 9th. Plenty of Yankee supporters here. A lot of Yankee players playing in the WBC.
What team has the most? The Royals had 13.
13, I think.
I think.
Who was it?
Yankees had 11.
I think the Royals have 13.
Royals.
That's wild, right? Judge skies one foul, 1-1.
What size bat does Aaron Judge use? Do you know?
I don't. I'm gonna ask him tomorrow when I see him.
Looks like a pencil in his hands.
I'm gonna say, what sticks out to you because it looks so small?
I bet it doesn't look like it's overly. It's not a 35 or anything.
He's 6'7".
Yeah, he's a big man.
He gets way down on that knob too. He is way off that knob. He wants the whip.
Seattle's got 18, AJ, and the Mets also have 18. That's tied for the top 2 marks. Philly's got 17. So does KC.
Oh, KC has 17.
Yep. Toronto's got 15. So do the Pirates. Red Sox have 15. 14 for the Brew Crew. 13 for the Padres. 13 for the Yankees. And 13 for the Orioles as well, including Gunnar Henderson, who's on the United States roster.
I remember Ali Marmol talking to me about the complexities of that in spring training when so many of your players are out playing. Yeah. You know, but it also does bring a lot of opportunity for younger players that may not have got at bats or innings.
Because your big guns are still getting at bats potentially at a high level. It's part of the balance that Mark DeRosa has to hold. He said, he used the word honoring. I still want to honor everybody that made the sacrifice to be away from their major league clubs to play for Team USA. I want to be honest with guys. It's harder for the pitching staff in terms of developing some rhythm. Not a lot of time for role definition either. Judge fights one off that was coming inside. Was that in play? And they're going to say it's a fair ball. Harper is pointing to say that it was a foul ball. I thought the home plate umpire, Brendan Miller, had called it a foul ball. Yeah, he did. He
called it a foul.
After all that, he did call that a foul ball. A little confusion there.
Talking about the guys leaving their teams. There's guys that are position battles, by the way. This ball is foul. Aaron Judge, the way Aaron Judge reacted and hit him on the back hip, you know he was foul. The umpires just sometimes need to look at the player will tell you if it's foul or not. It's really hard to fake that as a hitter, but like Harry Ford for Great Britain, who played earlier, he's in a battle for the starting catcher job for the Nationals. He's here playing for Great Britain. Which one's more important, right?
Country, AJ.
I don't doubt that is in the minds of a lot of these guys. There's Gunnar. That is part of the thought process, and I know that was something that was important to you, Waino, when you got the offer a few years ago. That's been a common thread across the board with a lot of these guys. Judge ends up drawing a walk. The inning extends with only one out. Harper's RBI has added a run for the U.S. in the ninth.
So we just got confirmation. It is actually a 35-34? 35-34?
35-33 ounce.
35-33 ounce. So it is
that's a bigger bat than most people. Sure.
It's a giant bat.
And in your eyes, it's still he still made it look small.
It looked like he was holding a 32 off the handle, you know.
And the way he holds it in his off the knob, it makes it like a 37.
Yeah. I tell you, when you're out there on the hill and you see him in the box, he looks like a giraffe up there. You know, just like he takes up the whole thing. He's such a large presence, not just his height, it's just such a large presence too that you know.
You see what he's doing right there? So he's telling Schwarb and Bregman, again, they don't have a lot of scouting reports from these guys. When they play the more established teams, they'll have scouting reports. They'll have at-bats against these guys. They're facing a college kid. He's telling Schwarber and Bregman, get the ball down. It has ride on it. And then he said also has a little run into him. That's a guy that just faced him, telling his teammates from first base what to look for.
Here is Schwarber with 2 on, 1 out in the ninth against the collegiate pitcher Tomas Lopez. We will see Mason Miller for the United States in the bottom of the ninth inning. He was loosening up in the bullpen. And another thing Mark DeRosa said, he doesn't want to get guys hot and not bring them into the game. Again, part of the management of the pitching staff. That's part of that balance as well with organizations and country.
That's the hardest part. Especially with the pitching staff, you have to balance the pitchers. You know, Waino, you went through it. 23, how hard it is for DeRosa.
Yeah, and he's getting calls from every organization. Hey, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. He can't do this. He can't do that. I mean, it's several times a day these organizations are checking in, making sure their guys are doing the things that they need them to do to be ready for the regular season.
Four-pitch walk to Schwarber to load him up for Bregman. We talked about it with tomorrow's starter, Tarek Skubal. He had made it clear that he could only go out for basically one outing. He still wanted to pitch for Team USA, and certainly you will take Tarek Skubal as much as you can get him. But that was part of the Logan Webb dilemma 3 years ago. Going into a contract year, wants to make sure he honors himself and the team he's playing for. And the same deal for Skubal, who will just pitch tomorrow against Great Britain. Infield is in, bases loaded for Bregman, who was hit in his last trip to the plate.
And don't forget, Skubal, Webb, Skeens, they're opening day guys.
Yeah.
They're all getting ready for the same day, basically.
So you got to time that out a little bit.
Logan Webb gets 1 day early because the Yankees and Giants open up a day early.
Right.
But you're trying to get all these guys on the same schedule. And here we go with the U.S. They just won't chase. Lopez out there going, man, guys in college. When I'm at Columbia, the Yale guys swing at that.
The Mercer Bears and Kansas State Wildcats are swinging wildly at these pitches. Those are the likes that Columbia has seen in their early part of 2026. Whoa! Bregman's already been hit once. That one was tight. It's 3-0.
He's clearly just lost his release point, right? He's been missing up all inning, up and in a few times now. He's not trying to do it. He just doesn't have the feel.
Brazil's 200th pitch of the game is another ball. It walks in a run for Bregman, and it's 10-5 United States as Harper, with an RBI single earlier in this frame, scores the second U.S. run of the night. It looks like that's going to be it for the young Tomas Lopez. A 25-pitch rocky inning. A couple of hits, 3 walks in a row, a couple of runs home for the U.S., and another Brazilian pitching change. We'll get another 17-year-old pitcher for Brazil. We saw Joseph Contreras earlier today, the youngest player in the tournament. Takahashi is going to turn 18 on Wednesday. He's the 3rd youngest player, or second youngest player in the tournament, I should say.
He's old.
Yeah, relative to Contreras. He's got to face Cal Raleigh, switch hitter, turns back around to the left side. Bases are loaded with Judge, Schwarber, and Bregman aboard. A couple of runs across for the U.S. here in the 9th inning. And we'll get a pitch clock violation. He did not release it in time. So the Sao Paulo native, you see the frustrations of Yuichi. Still getting used to a major change with the pitch clock. Many of these players who have not played with one in their careers.
How do you handle that, Wayno? Like, he threw a pitch and it looked like a curveball. And obviously Cal Raleigh didn't swing, but do you want to go back to the curveball after you do that?
Depends on how close they watch it, I guess, or how well you threw it.
2 balls and a strike on Cal.
Like, maybe if you don't like throw a banger in there and they think, oh, okay, I've got it now, then you can back it up with a good one. I don't know. That's always a weird one.
Judge at 3rd, Schwarber at 2nd, Bregman at 1st. All 3 walked consecutively against Lopez. And now Takahashi will deliver a 4-pitch walk to Cal Raleigh, the 16th walk drawn by the United States offense, and a 3rd run here in the 9th inning to make it 11-5.
16 walks and 3 hit batsmen or 2 hit batsmen? Buxton,
Bregman.
2 and almost
Bregman for a second time earlier in this inning, but
and almost Judge.
So now Roman Anthony, he'll take a strike. Little Bronx Houston cheer in the Bronx.
The USA fans want to see these guys get to swing the bat.
I think these guys want to swing the bat too. I think the restlessness is starting to sink in to the remaining fans.
It's not like the Brazilian pitchers are trying to throw balls. It's just a huge experience difference.
And they're trying to be so careful. You put anything in the wheelhouse of just about any of these U.S. hitters, you know what the result could very easily be. On the ground through the right side, Anthony a base hit. Schwarber will come in to score. Station to station go the Americans. Bregman stops at 3rd. Raleigh at 2nd, and Roman Anthony back-to-back trips to the plate with an RBI base hit. He has been aboard 4 times in his WBC debut, and it's a 7-run lead for the U.S. Again, just to clarify the mercy rule, the run rule, it would not apply here even if the U.S. were to take a 10-run lead, because you still have to finish that inning, meaning Brazil would have a chance to cut back into a potential double-digit run deficit this late in the game. So even if the U.S. scores 3 more times, the Brazilians would still have 1 more opportunity to come to the plate in the bottom of the 9th.
Mason Miller's about to come into the biggest lead he's probably ever had.
It's got to be a little tough on him, too. Getting hot, getting ready to go, and then this long inning. where the U.S. has scored 4 runs, mostly on walks. He's been hanging around in that bullpen, probably sitting up, sitting back down, getting up again. And the base is loaded for Pete Crow Armstrong in a 2-0 count. (3-0).
He's coming in the game, though. We know that. DeRosa said he's not gonna.
Yep.
He's not gonna get somebody up to warm up if they're not going in the game. He's going to respect the team's wishes on that, and he's going to give Mason this ball. But it can be tough for closers to come in the game when it's not tight like that.
There's a strike. 3-1 on PCA. We have other NL Central fans cheering for a Chicago Cub at the plate after a strike is thrown. Try to drop in a curveball. PCA draws an RBI walk. That is the 3rd RBI walk of this inning. The U.S. has batted through here in the 9th inning. And back to the man who started it all off with a single in Bryce Terang. So that closes out Tomas Lopez's line officially. He's responsible for all 5 runs that have come across the plate here in the 9th for the United States. And it's 2-0 on Terang.
Well, we're going to get to see all of Brazil's pitchers.
Certainly seems that way.
Because you can't, Takahashi, you just can't leave him out there. I don't know what the rule is on position players pitching, but I don't think they want to do that either.
I'm not giving him any, like,
yeah. Brendan Miller's like, no, I'm
either. I mean, he's hit the bottom of the line a few times. They're like, oh, man.
Who looks happier there?
It's a close race.
Yeah.
There's a strike on another 3-0 count of this inning. We've seen a handful of those already. Another cheer from the remaining crowd.
They just got a pitch
just
clock.
Got another pitch clock violation. My gosh. And Raleigh will score.
Oh, no, that was a balk. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
another violation here. We've seen a handful of pitch clock violations and now a balk against Takahashi. And another run comes across. Oh, boy. So Raleigh scores. Anthony to 3rd. PCA to 2nd. A bouncing ball too short. A run will score. Ito will fire across, and he will get Terang in time. But it's an RBI ground out as Anthony comes across, and it is a 10-run lead for the U.S. The other element to this, especially for the United States umpires, the MLB umpires, of which Brendan Miller is, they're trying to get loosened up for the year as well. And with the added addition, or with the addition of the ABS system, the expectation is they need to be sharper as well. Witt back at the top, who has seen a ton of pitches from this staff, up for the 7th time now. 2-0 the count on Bobby Witt Jr. Texas native back in his home state. Of course, his dad drafted by the Rangers all the way back in 1985. There's a strike. Miller has just been hanging out.
David Ross's beard has gotten grayer, by the way, since
I think
getting started.
I think since the last shot we showed, it's gotten longer, too. Witt reaches out, pokes it into right center. Ramirez is over. And a long 7-run United States ninth comes to a close. They've got the 10-run lead. Brazil will get its last cracks at the plate against the flame-throwing Mason Miller, who will come in for the bottom of the ninth. San Diego Padre, 27-year-old Pittsburgh native, making his WBC debut. The flame-throwing Mason Miller. And how about this? You go from one great fastball slider combination to another. From Spire to Miller from the right side now.
Well, last year he threw one of the most perfect pitches I've ever seen in my entire life. It was like 104, painted at the bottom left corner. This guy has one of the most electric arms in all of baseball. A setup man last year for the Padres.
When you got Robert Suarez in the back end of their bullpen, he just made it that much tougher. Roman Anthony moves out to right. You got Ernie Clement playing in left field after his fantastic postseason, a record-setting one for Toronto. And Paul Goldschmidt, Gold Glover, is over at first base to finish out the ninth. Bichette leads it off out of the fourth spot for Brazil, and there's 100 right out of the gate from Mason Miller. The 228-pounder deals. One and one. I think one of those pitches you were talking about was the pitch he threw in the wild card series at Wrigley against the Cubs. Yes. One of the greatest fastballs maybe you'll ever see. Down and away at the corner.
I just don't know how you hit a guy like this.
Yeah.
102 up, and then he throws a slider, I think, which is rated as the best pitch in baseball last year, or one of them. What do you go up there and look for? You can't hit 103, and you can't hit a slider.
It's the second best run value of any pitch. That slider. Opponents went 0 for 28 with 22 strikeouts in September and October last year against that pitch.
He struck out 11 straight guys last year in the regular season and postseason before he hit Michael Busch with a pitch. He punched out 11 straight dudes.
What a pickup for San Diego last year.
That sounds fun.
Close pitch, and Bichette takes ball 4. You know, we told you Miller was up and down, and obviously was going to pitch as soon as he got up to get warmed up. Mark DeRosa said, I'm bringing him in. I'm doing that with everybody, making sure they get their opportunities. But it was a long wait for Miller from the time he started to loosen up to the time he threw his first pitch on Bichette here in the bottom of the ninth.
And I don't think they'll let him struggle if he's not finding the zone tonight. He'll have 3 batters. If it's not looking great, they ought to have somebody maybe to out there clean up an inning, but you don't want this guy out there throwing 30 pitches.
Kershaw?
Potentially. Felipe Carraghi will check in as the pinch runner for Brazil.
Somebody's jumping around out there in the bullpen. I can't see who it is because Ed Svita gave me the worst binoculars of all time.
He just found him in the side of the broadcast booth or something.
The bullpen knows. They know their guys on the mound. They're not going to let this. They're not going to let him struggle.
Vitor Ito will take a slider strike at the bottom of the zone.
I like that. Get him back in sequence a little bit. Change it up. Great call by a brilliant catcher.
Smartest guys on the field. That's why they're all become managers and broadcasters, Wayno.
There's that nasty movement on the slider. You can see it from up here. You can see it on your TVs as well. Add another one to the managerial ranks, right? Kurt Suzuki out in Los Angeles. Brendan Miller's view here. It's high, 1-2.
A little humid out there.
Yeah, you can see the fogginess on that camera as well. Imagine the sweat from Miller and how hot it's been. It's very rainy as well, and it's supposed to be a very poor weather day in Houston. Obviously, we're in a ballpark with a roof, so no concern about game time or anything like that tomorrow, thankfully, but there's supposed to be some heavy rain in the Houston area tomorrow. We'll be back here tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern time, the United States and Great Britain. Three balls and two strikes on Vitor Ito.
If he loses him here, they've got to get somebody up in the bullpen, AJ.
Yes, you can't have him throwing 25, 30 pitches.
Little tapper grab by Raleigh. Throw down to second. They're going to call it a foul ball. That would have been a fabulous defensive play, but it is foul. Another life for Ito, and back to first goes Karagi.
That's a tough call.
Especially with the foggy lens.
I was going to say, yeah.
That's probably the right call.
Still impressive reflexes by Raleigh, of course. Payoff pitch again, and this time Ito goes fishing at the slider for out number one. Yeah, the other element, you guys made a great point. You don't want to burden these guys with too heavy of a pitch count. So good to get the strikeout here for Miller, not extend the at-bat.
I ask how you get a hit off Mason Miller.
Sure.
If he throws it over the plate and he doesn't fall behind in the count, he's throwing 102 with an 89-mile-an-hour slider. You just don't see that.
Rojo at the plate. Slider for a ball. Another former Philadelphia prospect, 3 years of rookie ball about a decade ago for Rojo. Now 31 years of age, as we said, a veteran of the national team for Brazil. One of their great successes came a few years ago. They won a silver medal at the Pan American Games. And for 8 innings of this contest, they stuck with the U.S. for a good chunk of the night tonight until the U.S. drew all those walks and scored 7 runs in the top half of this inning. 2-0 from Miller. There's a strike, 3-1.
Took something off that one at 100. 3-0, Waino. That's how he used to pitch.
That's what I was going to say. Waino used to do that all the time. Let me just take a little off this one.
Only hundreds I ever saw were going right past my head.
Oh, that was coming right at your head.
Right, that could have been coming.
That would have been one of the most epic moments of all time.
If I said that, and then it
came right at you.
It literally hit the top of the netting on that foul ball.
And I wasn't paying attention, so it probably would have
hit
me in the face.
Hey.
Don't worry, the catchers will protect the pitchers like always.
AJ's feeling like Cal Raleigh back here. 3 balls and 2
high heater. I mean, he's not really controlled the fastball. You get a fastball again, or his slider? Right?
Slider.
3-2.
And it goes to the slider and gets the strikeout on Rojo.
That just disappears.
So after the leadoff walk, back-to-back strikeouts via the slider from Mason Miller, and the Brazilians down to their final out. U.S. with a chance to finish this one off.
Look at this slider. It's almost like a curveball.
It looks like a curve, like dropping off the table.
It's like a really hard curve almost. It just breaks so much.
Victor Mascai, who has had one of the 3 Brazilian home runs, a 2-run shot back in the 7th inning. One of the bright spots for what has been a very impressive performance from Brazil. With the U.S. 1 strike away from finishing off the opener. Judge, the only United States homer. He scored 3 times tonight. Just missed it. That looked like the location of that pitch that Waino was referring to against the Cubs in the wild card series. Mason Miller's 1-2 delivery on the way, and that one's upstairs, and Mascai lays off. So now you're getting into that pitch count area. 22 tosses now for Miller. He'll have to finish this off in the next 1 or 2 pitches. Miller deals, throws a slider, and punches out Muskai to finish off the United States opener with a 15-5 victory over Brazil.
Just a dominant win by the U.S. It took us some innings to get there, a lot of walks. Only one home run in the first inning from Aaron Judge, but dominant pitching from USA. And this is just the first game of this tournament where it's going to get ramped up, and we'll see the intensity get ramped up.
Yeah, it was close for a while. Brazil made a lot of big pitches when they needed to, with a lot of runners on base, a lot of walks. But, you know, you can't hit over the fence if you're getting walked. So it was one way to go about it. They hung in there for a while, but USA was too strong in the end.
And you talked about seeing pitches getting some reps. The U.S. saw 221 pitches from Brazil's pitching staff in this game. Judge the home run, Schwarber a couple of hits, Bregman reached 5 times, Roman Anthony a couple of RBIs, Terang had 4 driven in. The U.S. at one point retired 15 straight from their staff. All leads to a 15-5 opening game victory. We'll wrap it up on the other side. Took a while to get there, but the United States comes away with a Pool B opening win over Brazil, 15-5. Our Ken Rosenthal down to the field with Aaron Judge, the captain.
Aaron, first time wearing the USA uniform in a meaningful game. What was your feeling like coming into tonight and then circling the bases after your 2-run homer in the first?
Wow, a lot of jitters, you know, just a lot of anticipation coming up to the WBC. Just kind of all year long thinking about it, spring training thinking about it, getting a chance to put this uniform on and, you know, represent our country. It meant a lot, you know, being on the line for the national anthem, you know, all the boys looking sharp, ready to go. Guys were dialed, and but hearing the crowd there in the first inning, that was pretty cool. Like Bobby Witt's up there, they're chanting USA, man. That's what it's about right there.
The game was a bit of a slog. Obviously a little bit closer than people expected for 8 innings. But you guys did draw 17 walks. What do you take out of this?
One, we got to clean it up. You know, like you said, 12-plus guys left on base. That stuff can't happen as we go down this tournament. But, you know, we'll figure it out. But this guy's passing the baton. I think that's been the coolest thing so far is we got a lot of guys on this team. You can go up and down that lineup. One guy could probably carry this team and win a game for us. But we got to trust each other. If we're going to go out there and win the goal like we plan on doing, you got to trust each other and continue to take your walks when you can. And let that next guy drive you in there.
All right, Manny Ramirez's son Lucas hit 2 home runs in this game. Jose Contreras' son Joseph entered the game at 17 years old and got you on an inning-ending double play. Aaron, what was it like facing a high schooler?
Oh, first with Ramirez, man, what a swing. You know, 2 home runs. You know, answer back after we get 2 in the first. He answers back with a solo shot of his own. Just impressive. And Contreras as well. You know, he's running up there 100 miles an hour, throwing a changeup in there, sinker. It was, you know, it doesn't matter who we face. You know, they got great arms over there, guys that can do their thing. Doesn't matter the age. We got to take care of business.
Aaron, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Fascinating context from Aaron Judge, especially considering some of the fun performances from the youth of the Brazilian national team, which stuck with the U.S. for a good chunk of this game. The United States pulls away late for a 15-5 victory in its opener, and back at it tomorrow night here on Fox when the United States takes on Great Britain at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. For A.J., Waino, Ken, and our fantastic crew, I'm Adam Amin saying so long from Houston. We'll see you tomorrow night.